if I go to live, I should be able to get it. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so now I go. Oh, fuck me. Let's see. Get shareable link. Okay, let's get that posted. See, sadly, we can't edit this little dialogue out because we're live right now. Okay.
No news today. That's good.
Yeah. Well, it can be, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's right. We need momentum.
Yeah. I've been trading, the heavy news days. I've been loving them, to be honest. Just let the dust settle and go for it,
How are we doing? 925. Okay. All right. So we should be live. Now, when we get a couple of them on, then we can do a mic check.
All right.
Make sure everybody's good.
Make sure all my stuff is set the way I want it. Everything. I've got some centered charts, so I don't have to chase them all over God's creation.
Nice. What's your on the NQ? What's your Renko brick size?
25.5.
25.
I trade it inherently at 25.5, and initially during the open, I only use it to use your calculations to trail the stop.
Right.
It's just a piece of cake. I drop it in at the initial stop's like 12, and then I use this right here to trail it.
Yeah. So when it flips, yeah, that's kind of a nice.
It's beautiful because I love what he did there.
Yeah.
Because I'll go from a 12 handle in initial stop to generally about 7 or 8, and then if I'm right and the trade takes off, I just trail it up.
Okay, let me make sure I've got this so that we're good. Public. I do that. We should be good here. Okay, hang on, because sometimes this gets fucked. No, we're good. We're good. Yay. Okay.
Cool.
Sometimes it's a little funky. Okay, so all we need now is a few people to show up here. We got.
You're recording for archive, right?
Yeah, I'll record it. Let me get over here and make sure it's recording. Yeah, we should. Okay, yeah, we've got a few people on, so we'll get started here at 9:30. I think now here's the other thing you got to remember: there's a 30-second lag, which is kind of a good bad. Hey, there's Las Vegas guy, Steven. All right, so far so good. It's working.
Should I be seeing any text here on my side, Sam?
Yeah, I just in the chat there's Steven so I know we got a few people coming in. You may not be able to see the chat.
It's got a margin set up for it. There you are.
Can you see the chat?
Good morning, dudes. Trader Dudes here.
Trader. Oh, that's a new handle I hadn't seen before. Trader Dude. All right. Cool.
So right now, Sam and those who are aboard, I'm in a no-fly zone. Obviously, 927 is a no-fly zone for me. I get everything centered, set up, and locked in. And then I'm just kind of hanging out, waiting for the market on open and waiting for 9:30 to come and go.
Yeah. Remember, guys, there's a 30-second delay. Oh shit! I should have put our disclaimer up. I'll put it up on the recording. Disclaimer. Right. This is for educational purposes only, just so everyone's clear on that. But I don't think you could trade it. I don't think you could follow it live because of the delay.
That would be brutal because
hey, Brian.
Some of my hold times are under 2 minutes. So
yeah, the 30-second delay I think keeps people. That's probably a good thing. Right. So since I don't have I should have the disclaimer up, but I don't. Okay, so we're 2 minutes to the open. We'll get rolling here. Everybody good? Hey, Brian, is the sound okay? I think we've got the right mic this time. Which
that's a help.
I think it was Brian the last time who told me. I think you're using the mic from something else. So
yeah, they can hear the dog barking. And
yeah, exactly. I know. Well, my dogs are. I've got little dogs, so I'm telling you, if you knock on your desk, they think someone's at the door. They go ballistic.
And they go into attack mode.
Yeah, they do, right? But you know that's the thing about little dogs. They're just doing their job. That's the whole point, right? If you were, camped out and bad guys were coming, that's what the little dog did. Alert you, danger, danger. They do their job. They are annoying at times, but they're doing their job. What they were bred to do.
I'm gonna get a look at a 4-time. These are all time charts.
Yeah.
Left to right, top to bottom is the 30-minute, 15-minute, 5-minute on the bottom left, and then obviously the 1 minute. 30's grounded out. 15 looks like it likes downside at this point.
Well, we've been up all night, so of course, first move is down, right? It's it's almost 100% certainty. All right, let me do a little intro to you.
Yeah, go
ahead. Here, we'll do it at 9:30 when we get some more people on.
Okay.
We'll get a few more started so they know.
If these guys come out swinging, this comes out swinging to the downside.
Take it if you see it. Whatever you want here. I'll just give you a little intro. Let me see how many people I think we have 20 now.
We're looking downside here. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. We'll give it another minute or two here. Let's see. We'll get to even 20. All right, guys. How are we doing?
Here's 9:30.
There we go. Okay.
Might want to center this bad boy.
All right, guys. Well, as you're seeing, we've got a guest presenter today. So you know him, you love him. He goes by the handle of Skeff. It's Mike Skeffington, and he's we've developed a friendship, and we've gotten to know each other. He's been a big supporter, a big fan, and he's been posting in our Discord as well as his own, some of his experiences with these tools, and he's been absolutely killing it. So I invited him in to do a little presentation for us, and so I get to kind of chillax and hang out with you guys. So I will turn it over to Skeff, and we'll probably go for a couple of hours based on what the price action looks like. I don't think we have any news today, so it should be good. And I hopefully, right, it's beneficial for you guys to see someone else other than me, using these tools, and it's because no two traders trade them exactly the same way. So I'm curious as well. So with that, I will turn it over to Skeff, and I will just hang out and participate like the rest of you guys.
Thanks, Sam.
Take it away.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. Appreciate it. My trading style is quite a bit different from some that you might see, including Sam's. I admire the way Sam trades because it requires technology, patience, and a real strong understanding of moves and how they form. I'm kind of a seat of the pants momentum trader by comparison. Nothing hugely technical, to be honest with you. What you're looking at is my main layout right there on the left chart. You'll see the devil's bands, right chart, footprint. Love them. So obviously right now we came out swinging in the open to the downside. That's not necessarily the way I like the open to go, but the open doesn't care about me. So real quick on the left chart, if you have a look, I have Renko, and I have the Renko set at 25.5. It's just where I like to be. I got a tick chart set at 987 because I do trade ticks against stochastics. Look at that demand zone. So prices come down, touch the bottom of the TMA bands. It's in demand. Everything I do is discretionary. That doesn't mean I don't follow a trade plan. I got a pretty strict trade plan, but I'm a get what you want, keep your exposure limited, and get the hell out kind of trader. This looks like a sell program, although we're at 932 and the dust is barely settling. So right now I'm sitting on my hands because you'd be chasing if you jumped in on that Devil's Bands trade. So further on down the line, when or if this turns to the upside or goes into a no trade zone, maybe a pullback might be the way to trade. Music to Sam's ears. I am not generally a pullback trader. I get in there and I punch it. So let me center this chart here and see if it helps it with. Nah, that's not gonna work. Gotta uncenter that bad boy. Piece of cake. So I know we have all types of traders here while this thing is doing what it's doing. Let me just tell you how I feel about that guy who just introduced me. Quite a while ago, it's probably 2 years ago, I think. I was looking for an indicator to basically do some of the heavy lifting in terms of plotting support and resistance. I was cruising the internet and came across the website and just fell in love with pretty much everything I saw. And the first thing I bought was the support and resistance indicator you see on every chart, and moved on to carrying a stack of Trade Devils Indicators because it grossly improved my tool belt. Wow, look at that sucker go. This may end up Renko, we're down 2. We came right down into support. So my favorite, of course, is the footprint. Footprint is just gnarly. By far the best footprint on the market, and nobody has to say for the money because there are $6,000 footprints out there that don't do what this thing does. Adding Trade Devils to my life, maybe to yours as well, which is why you're here, improved my life significantly. Win percentages went up, stress went down, which is a big thing with me. I'm a very sensitive guy. And it helped me, especially when you're looking at like the Devil's bands. It tells me when not to trade. Look at the garbage that we had prior to the open. That right there would keep me out of the market. And right now, the fact that we're already in a runner is keeping me out of the market. And I know that because of the Devil's bands. Footprint assists me in taking entries on all trades, assists me on how long I stay in the trade. You'll notice I use it a little differently than some. I leave gobs of signals on there as a measure of strength, but really what I'm looking for is the data across the bottom, which also appears on the top of the candle. Probably for most of you, nothing new there. So here we sit. I trade ticks sometimes at the open, but for the most part, the Devil's bands is what I'm after. Renko, I trade Renko a lot, especially when price action's a little slower, less impulsive, less volatile, put it that way. And I use like a home baked indicator. If you saw it there, you'll see it on the bottom, which is essentially an RSI and a momentum indicator on the same panel. It helps me verify the entries on the Renko. So here we are down and into a key level. That key level there is yesterday's previous session low. Let's see if it holds. Blowing right through this thing. Chasing trades isn't my thing, so maybe we get to hang out and talk a little bit. Usually I'm in one by 9:36. And the Devil's band is the key. If we have charts like this and then 9:30 comes, we're at 9:29.57. I probably could have taken that entry right there. Didn't. It's okay. I don't mind letting trades go as a result of using this trade plan because we know there's going to be more. And with this, because it's my types of setups are momentum. Look at the footprints getting green there off the bottom of the TMA band, right side chart. If I do happen to get in one and the momentum works against me and rubs my face in it, I am totally cool with that because there are going to be more, and this system will make it back. Of course, there are no guarantees implied, expressed, or warranted, but I have ultimate faith in this. Everybody has their red days. Everybody has their green days. This looks like it might move to the downside. Footprint is key. We're at the top of that. The McGinley is not on that chart. I have it off screen, but we're at the top of the Keltner and top of TMA, and we're retracing to the McGinley line. I do everything by hotkey, by the way. I rarely take a 987 tick chart, which is essentially what's in this Devil's band right here, and trade it against a simple stochastic. The stoch has to agree. And if you follow back what has already happened, look at the moves. Stoch comes down from being overbought, slam. Stoch comes down from being overbought, slam. Here's a big one. And the stochastic's actually weaker. Comes down from not even being overbought. It's just in the middle of its trading zone and down the chute. So 2 ATR, 1 ATR, McGinley, -1 ATR, -2 ATR. That's how the Devil's bands are set up for me. If that stochastic were to have rolled over right there, I would have been in an entry. For now, sitting on my hands. Yeah, no reports this morning, which means no shot in the arm in terms of volumes, impulsivity, or volatility. But that's okay too. We may have like cleaner, smoother price action. I'm kind of a volatility hound, to be honest, which is why I take this trade plan to the open. Most days I'm done by 10. If you can, by the way, I'm trading prop accounts and I have them live. They are being traded right now. What I do is I trigger with no skin in the game using a sim chart trader, and I send it to 20 accounts. Today's a little different. Today I have a 10 block. I challenged myself recently to open 10 brand new accounts with a certain prop firm's never-ending sales, and to challenge myself to see if I could do a combine using E-minis. So I am trading E-minis, just so you know. Okay, so we have a little consolidation here. Left chart, you're looking at just a little bit of consolidation just below the McGinley line. ATR 1 and -1 remain red. That's cool. We're not seeing lots of momentum. The tick calculator is saying I'm spot on with 987. Yeah, may take this one. I don't know. We'll wait and see if we get a little bit more firmness. We have 250. I'm counting the ticks down right here. Look where well, if I had a cursor up, that's what it would be. The cursor here. That's how I count them down. So right now we're more closing back in on the McGinley than getting below ATR 1 or -1. Footprint obviously all over the place. We're a little bit range bound there. That's fine. It's fine. Everything's cool. This is unusual. Usually I'm hammering them out by now. That's fine. We got time. And at 11 o'clock, I stopped using this particular trade plan. Not that there's anything wrong with devil bands, after that. I find that for me, with the trade plan the way I've designed it, it works better prior to 11. And then after that, I switch over to Renkos. And I have a 25.5 setting. It's my favorite setting. I rarely deviate from that unless I'm trading pre-market, which we didn't do today, obviously. So, Devil's Bands is tempting with a pullback to the McGinley. Here we sit. Now, here's why I love, one of the reasons I love the Devil's Bands indicator. This is my boss. Because I don't have a boss, I tend to sometimes, get a little loose, a little seat of the pantsy. This right now is telling me there's no trade. There's no trade anywhere. So, in looking, McGinley is yellow. +1, +2 ATRs are both yellow. Stochastics to the upside. I'm going to have a quick look at time-based charts to see if we've had any change there. 4 time-based charts. Top left is 30 minutes. Top right is 15. Bottom left is 5. The 5 shows probably we're in a buy block and we're going to head to the upside. The 1 minute does in fact agree. So back over to where I'm at. You see now we have a green 1 ATR. Market's not flying, so if I get in this, I'm not going to expect 15 handles in seconds. That, by the way, 15 handles is my hard target. I trade one position. Here we go. Countdown is 250 to left. We're chewing through, and I want to take that. And I'm going to take that because it did break. It barely broke, but it did break the +1 ATR. It's turning against me now, you bugger. Stops, I trail instantly. The initial stop I drop in is 12 handles. And then if I don't get a push, I close it using a hotkey. So watching the footprint data, primarily a green situation, which I like. The previous candle had a 14% with trap traders, but it did have commitment to traders in the red. Commitment to traders I like a lot because essentially it shows you where traders are committing. It's that simple. If you keep it simple and in its understanding, keep it simple, you can use it. So let's see if the stop moved a little bit. It did not. Stop is being placed by the Renko chart and all the mathematics that are encoded into that sucker. That is pure brilliance, and it keeps me from having to suffer through larger stops. So that's how I trail the stop. I drop it in, I get there. This trade is looking a little wishy-washy, and if it breaks thesis, I kill it. What does it mean to break thesis? Well, if I end up where I'm at now, below the +1 ATR, and it stays there too long, and the footprint data isn't good, I kill it. Excuse me, allergy season. So here, we'll let that sucker fester for a little bit and see what we get. Cumulative delta is not good. I'm down 7. This particular candle is looking fairly strong. And there you go. First stop. So we have a stop out right out of the gate. Now what I do is because I'm trading a prop, I hit a kill everything switch just to make sure that people on the other side of the prop firm have everything dialed for me. I have had some hung orders before, and that's not pretty. So let's look at time-based charts again. Has anything changed? Well, 30's flat, the 15 is pointed downside, 5 is pointed downside, and the 1, stochastic-wise, shows some upside pressure, not the end of the world. It's probably a better short than it is a long, that's for sure. Right now, no trade. So with the stochastic up on the bottom on that left chart, up on the top rather, and rolled over, there would appear to be, here we go, -1. The -1 just turned red. Hate to play ping pong. And if we end up with a back and forth situation early in the market, I switch over to Renkos and then just scalp the living daylights out of the Renkos. Excuse me. So waiting on, we have 300 ticks remaining. Price is back to the upside. And if you look at the footprints, it's in agreement. Footprints have a lot of stuff on them, the way I use them. While we have a little minute here, I'll go over it. I use the Keltners to establish a channel and also the TMA scalper bands. And that combination can be fantastic when the market has momentum, when it's impulsive. Those two sets of bands will work together and show you plainly something that you should be taking or getting out of. Excuse me, I'm going to mute this mic for a second, clear the old pipes. Hopefully that was muted because that was loud. Right now, devil bands are showing me no trade. So we wait. Nothing wrong with waiting. And I always keep my eye on news, which we don't have any today. It's 9:45, but first 15 minutes into the, out of the gate. And of course, remembering that 10 a.m. does have a lot of tricky things can happen at 10. And of course, when the initial balance comes in at 10:30, this thing wants me to take it long again. We're at the top of the channel. If you look at the footprint, so essentially we'd be trading a momentum breakout. If we get momentum for a momentum breakout, here we go. And I'm counting down less than 400 ticks. Obviously, that candle on the devil band pulled back inside ATR1. 200 ticks remaining. Let's see if it gives us a trade here, if it's going to make me wait. We got to break 39.70. Nope, no trade yet. So typically what happens when we get that signal that you're looking at right there, where price closes above the green +1 ATR with a green McGinley, a lot of times what happens is I get in and there's barely enough time to adjust the stop. My average hold time using this system went from somewhere in the 4-minute range to 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And I believe a lot of it is market, of course, but I believe a lot of it is that indicator right there. As it retests the McGinley, price action traders may be taking longs right here. Those who believe in trade, either looking at measured moves or trading a bounce off of a key level. Momentum looks a little bit weak, not a problem. And here we go, 400 ticks left. Let's see what we can make out of this here. I think I'll just stretch this a little bit, make it a little bit longer, and I got to get in for a hotkey. There we go. I am taking that long. Entry was a little bit late. Let's see where the Renko wants me to put my stop. I'm pretty good. Pretty good there. Move it up a little bit, tighten her up. And now what we're looking for is a little pop. I've got a tiny resistance level here, so I'll make a move on the profit target. Back to footprints, and let's see what comes. Not exactly flying. We do have 3 in the hand at this point. What we need is to see a breakout through the TMA. We have a lot of stacked imbalances on the footprint. 4 1/4. Let's see what the stop should be. All right. We're making tiny moves here. Inroads to a nice long. 5.5, 6 handles. A lot of my exits are discretionary. If I feel time has exposure is too much based on time, I will take the trade off myself rather than wait for a profit target. I don't swing trade. So we have a green +2 ATR. That's a good sign. And price again, making a move. I get to move the stop once again. Keep things tight. 6 in the hand. We're not flying. 9 handles. These are all the minis. Come on, baby. Show me what you got. And if I happen to look at the footprint data is real twitchy. And we're going into some red delta, but we are fairly close to the profit target. And I'm looking at 9, 10 handles of profit. Watching the twitch, watching the footprint. Red delta, falling delta. There we go. Take that, baby. Ooh, divergent. There we go. That's 15 handles right there in the can. 15 handles doesn't suck. The first trade, of course, was a bust out. Let's see where we're at. Well, you know what? I don't look at P&L till later, so I'm not going to. So One down, one up. Even if it was a full stop at 12, that was a 15 handle win, so we're already green. But we'll see what comes next. Now, a lot of traders are looking for re-entry. A situation like this, I don't like re-entry as much as I like just slamming one out, taking 15 and running. We're trading square into the VWAP here and into the opening range open, opening range high, session high, a resistance level that I drew by hand. And let's have a look at the market structure indicator and find out where we're at. And nothing to report there. And is there anything above all of that resistance? Yeah, tons more resistance apparently. I'm going to uncenter this chart. I have it centered. No, I didn't center it. Holy smokes. So there's not much movement in terms of price action. I love opening a tick chart, for instance, and having to shrink it. Reset the zoom. There's no need to shrink this chart to read it well. Now, let me tell you how I feel about that. I have a rule. If I open up a tick chart and I have to enlarge it in order for me to feel the move or find it break a level, I'm not trading. And the inverse holds true. If I have to shrink the thing to bring it down, that means I had range expansion in the candles. That is part of the beauty of the tick chart. With range expansion, you know you're going to have movement. So because I don't have to shrink the chart down to make it look good, I'm going to be a little more cautionary than I normally am. And it has nothing to do with you guys. So watching to see if we get something cool go on here. I'll get back to the footprint. 25 range may be a little bit ambitious for this type of momentum or the lack thereof. You can see on the Devil's bands, I'm inside under a trade zone right there. While all the indications are green. McGinley, 1 ATR, 2 ATRs, they're all green. So what that's telling me is it's prone to long bias. Let's have a look. I'm not sure I'm into there we go. Everything just went yellow. My boss just told me to take a break. So it gives me a chance to look at time-based charting. Again, left to right, top to bottom, we have a 30-minute and a 15-minute on the top. And then on the bottom, we have actionable charts, 5-minute on the left side and 1 minute or 60 seconds on the bottom right. Right now, the larger charts are saying we're kind of flat and kind of lazy. I agree with that assessment. But if you happen to have a look at the 1-minute chart there, you know, there's a good run. That might have been what we just took. Back to the main page. Now, I don't know if I can see questions from you guys. Who wants to catch a falling knife? Answer, nobody. And it's, you know, if it goes in the other direction, it's a thrown knife. At this point right here, we are 700 ticks away from a signal. The signal is probably going to happen because it's trying to happen now. Looks like we're getting a little leggy on the bottom end of the 987 tick, which is inside the devil bands right now. So that's trader's discretion. I'm going to take it and I'm going to kill it really quick if it doesn't work. Yeah, it's not working. So I won't give this a whole hell of a lot of time. Stop gets moved up. 2 3/4. Let's go back to the footprint. Okay, so in my view, this is breaking thesis. So unless we get a candle that pushes down and closes down below the -1 ATR, it's probably better to kill it and live to fight again another day. 3 handles down. Yeah. Need the footprint to show that sellers are coming out or buyers are just taking their positions off, which is not happening. Do we get a McGinley bounce? Nah. -11, -10. I'll let the market take me out. Yep, there's 2. To make sure all the props or prop house is doing its job. Give me 1 second to mute the mic. Allergies are a bitch. I know Sam's a sufferer as well. It's immediately coming down and giving me an opportunity if ATR 1 goes green right here. However, there's a small supply zone that I don't know if you guys can see on that screen, but there's supply in here, which means you get a lot of people holding stuff saying, hey, I'll sell it. Not my favorite situation, especially with the 50 retracement right here in the market structure indicator. And of course, what looks like VWAP. That would be a tough row to hoe. So here we sit. Let's see if we have any other text here. Okay. Price is making inroads for a long again. I do have the stochastic. How much room do we have? Well, at 558, we're going to encounter some resistance, and it's not small. That only begins resistance. We have lots of it above. One trade, I think it was yesterday that I passed on, broke through 17 resistance levels.
Hey, Skeff.
Yeah.
Bear with me a second. I'm sorry to interrupt, man. You're on a roll. Looking great. I guess we're getting some comments from some guys that the resolution is not great. So they're not getting the value they should, because this is great stuff. So I think what we need to do, it appears, because I've just been chatting with Erwin, that
Sure.
your resolution is too high for the live stream. So you need to be at a resolution on your monitor of 1920 by 1080.
Ooh.
So I think what we need to do here is have you, let's see. I think you just need to, I got to get you off here. So you have to, tell you the truth, I'm not sure how to do it. You have to rejoin. So yeah, let's see here. So you have to sign off and rejoin. Let me see what my choice is.
I got to stop sharing.
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah. So you gotta stop sharing. I'll kill your mic and then reset your resolution so it's 1080. And then I think, because I've got a few guys saying here, hey man, we can't see anything. It's terrible. And this is just really good stuff. So I don't want them to miss that. So okay. Let's do that. So I'm going to kill your source. Then just change your monitor. And I think that should be fine.
I can change. You know what happens a lot of times if you change this resolution while your program is running, things get really dicey.
Yeah, you might have to reboot Ninja. I'm sorry, man, but this is just a bummer. So okay, so let me kill that. Do that. I'll take it over for a second. Let's see if we can reset.
Yeah, dude, take it over, because some of these pullbacks might turn into something pretty hip, and it's right in your wheelhouse.
Got it. Okay, man. All right, I'm going to kill you, and then just try to reset it. Okay. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Let's see. So I got to kill that source. We have been plagued. Live streams are not as easy as they appear. God, we did like a 15-minute dress rehearsal to make sure we had everything right, and apparently once we went live, the resolution was a problem. So sorry about that, guys. Entways, thanks for letting us know that it was really kind of fucked. All right, so he's been trading the NQ here, and I'm just kind of watching along. I did catch this. I caught this piece right here, which was kind of a nice setup, right? We come right here. We came right into, well, here's an order block, right? You can see, okay, well, there's a couple of things. Remember, I focus on this a lot, and I could, because I think it'll help you. We're constantly looking for threes. So you can see it here. It's threes within threes. So here's the, whether you think of it as an ABC or the three, whatever. So there's the three right there. Okay. So that leads to that retracement. But within the ABC, you see there's a larger one there. I'm sure you guys see this, right? So then there's also this one. Here is the three. So what's happening here? Is this potentially another three? Well, that's kind of, if you're trying to anticipate, you can kind of see it repeatedly. I want to see this, shit, that's all the market can do, right? That's all that it can do. It's a two-dimensional market, right? All we can do is either this or this, right? That's all we can do. So this process of looking for threes kind of helps you identify, is the price pattern such that, oh, I'm at a place where I might look to enter the market because I can see the three happening. Well, now here's a three going up. Well, here's a cluster, right? So if we, oh shit, do I have a higher time frame? Okay, so what are we coming into here, right? So from the pre-market high right here, we come back into, here's the 50, here's the golden zone, right? Here's the order block. Here's a low volume node, and here's VWAP right here. Right here, I'll probably draw that. Right, there's VWAP right there. So we came right up to it. Now let me see. So Skeff, he may be back. Let's see if he's got his. So let me bring him back. You back, man?
I'm here.
Okay, that's you. Now, that looks better to me?
So here's what I did. I did the res change. Essentially, it made the chart absolutely freaking enormous.
For you, yeah.
Yeah.
But we can see it, right?
And now I'm gonna let me just minimize that chart and do it to the others, because I can always I use tab view anyway, Sam, so I can always like use that tab and then switch over to Renko. I don't know what that.
I got Simon saying that mine is shitty too. Now it looks pretty good to me.
Yours on my end, not that it's supposed to look great, is really tiny.
Tiny. Well, see, I do run a 4K monitor. That should be better, but we've done this before. I haven't had this problem. Well,
right.
So guys, Simon, we let Simon be our guide here.
Simon's
is that
the man.
better for you when we're Simon, when we're at this resolution? Is that better now, guys? Ent-wise, is that better? Can you guys make sense of that? I know there's a 30-second delay for them, but
shit.
I know it's annoying, right? This the live stream.
No,
there's no way to test it. It's so fucking. Skeff is good now. Okay, there's Erwin saying Skeff is good now. Okay, so you're good.
I'm good, but I can't find other shit. I gotta look for my stuff. Hold on.
I know. Welcome to this is the thing with live streams. There's no room where you can do like a dress rehearsal. It's fucking live the minute you're on. Okay, so let me
see. Sam, just lost you, buddy. You there?
All right, yeah. So I'm gonna turn off so you can take it over, because so when I click this, it'll kill my mic, so you won't hear me back.
I'll just fumble through. I've got what I need on this one screen. I got Renko, ticks, and Devil's Bands. Actually, I'm gonna need a footprint. I don't know if I can get it by minimalizing the screen I got you on. Shitballs. You know what? Nothing's stopping me.
Just take me off, right? Just.
Well, that would be
me off to the other monitor.
I can't seem to get. I wonder if it's here. It is here. I did push you off to the other monitor. I just can't get my cursor over there for some reason. When I made the display change, and everything got fucked up. But
these practice live streams are so helpful.
That's okay.
Right. We'll get it right eventually. It's I'm telling you.
You know what? I'm not gonna let this shit stop me. It's like it is what it is.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna turn it over to you.
All right. Let's see what we got happening here. I got to get back in the saddle. So Renko. Hopefully this looks better, guys. Don't know if it does. Shoot some text over to Sam if it doesn't, because I'm not getting a lot of text. This looks like an attempted upside. If I look at this right now, we are below the 55 RSI. This is a dual RSI here with a 55 and a 45. So we're below the 45, and this is murk right here. It's no man's land. So I'm not tempted to do anything. Let's back to the main chart here. So my boss has kicked in and turned everything yellow. We're also stochastically looking at downside pressure. So this is a sense. This should give you a sense on how I use this sucker. We now have red. -1 ATR, and I have 600 ticks remaining here, so I get to count that down right there. Look where the cursor is. That's a really cool thing about ticks. You get to count them down, and if they're flying, you've got momentum. They are not exactly flying. So momentum trades may not make the most sense at this point. Chances are we'll be switching over to the Renkos early. It's 10 o'clock right now, so the opening range is in. This isn't going to go anywhere. So let me check the IB and make sure I have opening range on. Session high and low. Opening range. IB is not ready to be turned down yet. Trying to keep it a little clean. You may laugh at that because there's a lot of stuff on this chart. And it all works for me. That's a simpler view there. Okay. So we are inside the no trade zone, which is demarked by that red bar. Devil's Bands, very, very simple system. Complicated behind the scenes for Erwin when he built the thing. But this just keeps me honest. Like right now, and this whole section right here, if you were to say from 953 on, is a no trade zone. Think of the no trade zone as almost an engulfing candle. It's saying don't do it. But if we have a break to the upside, some folks might take that trade. That's square into the VWAP and then into yesterday's. That's a previous session low. I'm sorry, previous session high. That's why I coded it red. So it's trader's discretion. Do you trade this? To me, it would have a tough row to hoe. Although the stochastic indicator is rolling in the direction of showing us upside bias. This is iffy. I'm probably going to let this one go. I tell folks when I sit, I ask myself two questions. Am I a trader or am I an observer? I just chose to observe, even though we have a green 1 ATR. If it is going to trigger, it might trigger off a bounce off the McGinley or even the bottom minus 1 ATR if it stays green. But for me, holding pattern. We'll have a look at the Renko. Renko is showing. I love the filtration Trade Devils built into this, by the way. I used to trade Renko red and green, and then, of course, had to invent an indicator to tell myself when it was really prudent to take the trade. Now, not the case. I let the filtration do its jobs. Occasionally, we're looking at a short here. Yeah, that is a short, and I'm taking it that way. Well, let's find out what comes. 2.5 down. I am not, because we are trading into, boy, having a screen like this is a real bitch. Because we're trading into support, I will just take a few handles on a trade like this and get out. There we have where I'm going to place the profit target. Hearing all sorts of texts come in. I'm sure it's people trying to help with this situation, but can't take my eye off the screen right now. And I'm trading hotkeys, so ready to take action if I have to. So far, so bad this morning. But I can turn on a dime. I've had opens that were like 3-4 losses in a row, and I make it all up scalping 5 handles at a time at noon. So it is what it is. We'll take what we can get here. With this particular trade, I would love to look at a footprint. And okay, let's look at profit target versus entry. We're in at 536, stop 543. So you have a 7-handle stop. 536 down to 529, 7-handle target. It'll probably break that target if it does go for runner here, and we're right in it. There you go. I thought I saw a 9 1/4 on that fill, so we'll bank that one. Devil's bands once again. Oh, look at that! That thing's telling me to take a trade. I love it. That is what's known as confluence and indication. When you have a real strong indicator, strong part of your trade plan that told you to take a trade, and the Renko said the same thing. Beautiful thing. I'm missing my footprints. Man, do I want to look at a footprint chart right now. Hey, look at that. Don't ask me how to get the other charts back, but you know what? I can trade this chart alone. One of the things I will say is the combination of Renko, tick, footprint, and Devil's bands. I don't need all that to trade. In a market that's fairly regressive, and this one is. I mean, it's pretty much gone nowhere since 10 o'clock. It's now 10:06. It's not a long time, but look at all that price action. Basically, if you went short on the TMA, it came down and hit the bottom of the TMA or close to it. Lots of people trade that way, and it's a viable trade plan. This Renko, I believe, is centered, which is why it looks kind of funny aspect ratio wise. I'm not sure I'm ready quite yet to trade agnostically, like take all longs, all shorts when they come up. But after, like that one, after noontime, I do that. I'll pass on this one. Let's see what we got here. Footprint. And I'm trying to find all the hidden charts. I'll bet they're right here. Hey, I figured it out. There's my footprint. So it'll be in the Ninja Trader window. There's another footprint. And Devil's bands. How about that action? So now I know how to find them. They're all under the Ninja icon. I think I started to say I brought a 10 block of eval accounts with me today. I'm actually testing myself on doing a combine. Look at what we got here. Price really wants to go long, square into the VWAP and 2 ATR and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 resistance levels. I really can't do that. And suddenly I can't get to my other chart either, which sucks. That's okay. I'll just do without it. And there we have an entry long. It's brutal. That is a long entry. And while the trade is trying to pull back out of thesis, it's not going for a runner. It could. Stochastic is showing upside pressure and, on the pressure to the buy side. Right now, if I entered here, it would actually be a pullback into a long. But, when one closes above, the green candle here closed up well above that 1 ATR. This could fly. You never know. Let's see if I can get a Look at the Renko. You can see the Renko shows plainly that we're trading into trouble. And this is almost exposing a range until it breaks out of a range and gives us something open, whether it's open to the upside. This is centered. I got to uncenter it. Apologies. This is how you uncenter a chart. Click on that, hit enter, bang. Now you can do whatever you want. So below us, we have support. Above us, we have lots of resistance. So the tendency here is to not take a position. Not taking a position is taking a position. Here's the tick chart to show you a little cleaner view. Demand down below, lots of demand. We have small supply zones and volume weighted average price. So we get the VWAP, TMA band to breakthrough, a 50% retracement, two resistance levels, session high, another resistance level. Yeah, I'm in a hurry to go long here. Not. So we're going to sit tight and let our pitch come to us. Take your pitch. Watch this thing go sky high. It'll just rip me off. Not that that's ever happened. So there's your look from a tick chart perspective. Devil's bands. Devil's bands are saying it's okay to take a long. McGinley's green. 1 and 2 ATRs are both green. And we're above the 1 ATR. What are your thoughts? It's the key to discretionary trading. This ain't automation. It's not going to stand there and salute and just take trades that aren't good for us. So at this point, I am hankering to see some time-based stuff. It appears that disappeared somewhere else. I'll do without it. Trading without all your tools is a challenge, to say the least.
Well, we had to make it a little challenging for you. We didn't want this to be too easy.
Shit,
so, blurry charts, can't see, can't get all your tools. Man, I wasn't going to make this easy on you.
Perfect. And look what happens. So I ignore the one signal that that was a clean signal above the +1 ATR, and it ran for a few handles.
Well, that it's, as you said, right? If it's not what you're looking for, then you're just taking it with that's the hopium trade.
Yep.
Well, I hope it goes. Well, fuck, I hope it goes. That's you never want to be in that. It's got to be. This is what I look for. This is what I like. There's the setup. I'm in, right? Which you're demonstrating quite nicely. Right.
It's
so, where's the retracement? Right.
That's yeah, exactly. 15 years of doing things certain ways and trading breakouts consistently, square into stuff I'm not supposed to be trading into taught me that who the hell wants to be a 50-50 trader?
You wait for your pitch. I do. At least I always talk about visualizing the trade I'm looking for. Right. So when it sets up, well, fuck, that's what I was looking for. There it is.
Right.
So yep. So here you can see you're not as heavy a golden zone user as I am, but we just pinged the golden zone. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm looking at the ES. We're just pinging. Could be resistance here up at this golden zone. We'll see if it breaks. There's another one up above it.
No, it's all related.
Just out of curiosity here, I'm just because I think I've fixed this here. Is this resolution better here, guys? That it looks like, let me go over to YouTube here. It looks like that should be better for you guys on mine. I do run a 4K monitor. I changed the resolution here in the live stream. That should be a little bit better. It looks like you can see all the detail here. Okay, so the reason I'm doing that is because I think when I switch back to yours, here's what I know, Skip. Next time we do this, it'll be tighter. We'll have this figured out.
That's not a problem.
This interesting spot that we are here, right? We're coming up to the strong high. Fuck here. I'll just show this here real quick, right? So do you see the golden zone we just pinged off here right at the IB high? Do you see? I'm assuming you guys, right? I know there's a little bit of a lag, but here's the golden zone right here. We just pinged it, right? So this is the golden zone in the range, but this is the swing range we're in per market structure, right? Here's the strong high that should be defended, right? Weak low. Well, we just came up and pinged the IB at that golden zone. But now there is another one a little bit higher on a higher time frame. But the point being, as I stress this to guys, you don't ever ignore these, right? Never assume, it's just going to blow right through, because there is almost always a reaction at any golden zone. So just duly noted. So now it's leaving behind an order block here. So, and that's right at the pre-high, right? It's interesting, right? Pre-highs, and we know there's algos at the pre-high, right? That's fucking not news.
Absolutely.
But interesting, right? So how we ping there. So now, actually, this is not the ideal setup for the IB trade, because you really want to ping it for the first time. Now I know we're setting it, but if that comes back the next time, it's going to be tricky. But you've got a potential liquidity grab here right above the strong high, right? So it should be interesting. Okay, I'm out. I'm shutting up now.
Yeah, don't bother. That was great shit. Like, again, a different perspective. I'm in there grinding away.
Yeah. No, well, but that momentum, right? So with the ATR, you just it requires momentum. So the Stokes is a good add-on to it to confirm you've got that momentum.
And you want to talk old school, right? I've traded Stokes since 2008, and they always seem to make their way back onto my chart.
Most people don't understand how to trade them, right? They think it's about cross.
Well, in a trend, we know that they're absolutely 100% useless, because it does. If you look at where my cursor is, that's what it does. It gets its face smashed into the earth, and
I know, but people are trying to buy that, right? And instead of going, oh God, it's short. Like, oh, please stay down here.
Yeah. No, it doesn't work that way. But but as far as an old school, it couldn't be more basic. I use it basically to
is price rising or climbing in the range?
Exactly. So and it's just another confluent indication for me.
So see, now we're just back into the no trade zone. We're back into the swamp, right? Where could go up, could go down, no telling here. Right back to the McGinley would be interesting, but then we'd be right back to the POC, right back to where flip a coin, right? We have a bias here, right? The color of the McGinley, but if we coming right back into this, if I just draw this here, okay, is that a trade? Well, we're right in the middle of, you don't really have any advantage here. You can kind of hope you get a bounce there, but then look, right, already we got multiple order blocks here and a low volume node here, so it's kind of an iffy buy. All right, let me get out now.
So Renko was showing me, actually, if I was just trading the Renko, actually using a dual RSI, I had an entry. So, and while I might not have gotten 15 handles out of that, I might have been able to grab 5, 6, 7 handles. So when this sort of transition starts happening, when Devil's bands are excellent, but maybe just not for this price action, I'm not afraid to flop over and trade the Renko all day long. Not a problem doing that. I love this Renko system, by the way, guys. This what you're looking at, that's the straight up TDU Renko. There's nothing, it's just straight up with paint, what I call paint filtration. And when I get a signal, I generally just take it, and if I can, in this case, continue to get lower high, lower low all the way down, I hang with it, or I just trail the stop. The stop on this one would be right about here, 555. And if it comes up and hits it, it hits it. But right now, even the Renko, look at what it's telling us. Read the play. We've got support. We have resistance, 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 resistance. G. Not going long. In fact, I'm sitting on my hands at this point. Remember this, not taking a position is taking a position. Also, there's another one I want to dispel. I've heard this too many times recently. You can go broke taking profit. If you're in a market that sets you up and you ride a bunch of full stops, or you ride trades that are working against you, and you fall in love with those and want to marry them, yet the minute you take a trade that goes 3 handles in the green, you want to get out, you can go broke taking profit. So consider that. If there is an Achilles heel to the way I trade the Devil's bands, it's days like today where momentum or impulsivity is light. You may end up taking a couple of stops, as we have here, with more than 7 or 8 handles, and then you're in a position where, okay, now you got to scalp your way out of it, or walk away. Walking away is also taking a position. I've done it. I did it last week. I think I did it twice. Walked away, came back, trade the next session. I scalped from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. using the Renkos. And a perfect time to do that is if I find myself in the red from the morning session, from the open. But right here, right now, we got a whole lot of nothing going on. So let's see what's going on with ticks. Ticks are exactly the candle action you saw inside the Devil's band, but ticks are showing, hard to tell. I'm sure you guys probably can't see this, but that's a supply zone right there. So what that means is a lot of people going, hey, I'll sell up here. Great. Generally what happens is they sell up there, and we eventually watch price move to the downside. So Renko, there we have it. Heard any good jokes lately? because there's very little here that I'm interested in. Now we are plowing into the VWAP, and that can show us some stuff. If we get a bounce off the VWAP, maybe there's a short-term trade to the downside, but don't force trades. And in my rule of thumb, Sam and I talked about this before we went live. When you do this, when you do a live stream, we don't take trades for the sake of taking trades. In fact, you'll learn more by not taking trades. I don't show anybody anything by losing. So here we sit. And is Irwin with us, Sam? Is he with us, or is he just monitoring? There's a long right there. I don't know if I lost Sam.
No, I have to.
Oh, okay.
I have to flip my camera on to get the mic. He's watching. He and I have been DMing, trying to figure out some of the resolution issues. We think we've got it sorted out here. Yours is better. It looks like Steven and guys. I think I found the setting. Often what happens is these things, when you turn them off, and they go back to like a default. So we were on low res. I think we're better now. So if you were to go back to your preferred resolution, I think we'd be okay. But
really,
let's not risk it. If we have to, we'll use another platform.
If I can, I'd like to try it, because this is
okay. Yeah,
really hard to do.
I'll take it, and let's see if we can get you back here.
Right,
so I'll kill it for you, and then wait. Just go ahead and set up, and I'll wait for you to come back. Okay, so now here we are, right? So here, 10:20. So now this will be interesting. So my guess is, this will be interesting. Look at all the potential liquidity grab up here, right? So if you look left, right, all of this. I know we've got this delay here, but you might do it this way, right? You see all of that. So all the potential there for the grab of liquidity. Now, of course, liquidity grab, it's easy to say, oh well, they're going to just grab liquidity and we launch, right? Nobody knows, right? But you would just look at this and say, gosh, is that a place that I would want to long? It feels to me like that's a hopium trade. What I'd rather do is say, okay, well, if it's going to bust out, okay, great. Well, look right there, right? There's the other golden zone, likely from that pivot. Okay, well, if it's going to bust out, cool. Okay, well, I'd have a break of structure. That would be significant. If it comes back, now I'm kind of interested. But notice we were just looking, here's strong high, weak low, right? So this, until that breaks, this is, well, think of it this way. This would be the ideal place to enter, right? Because your risk reward would be so good. Your target is the IB low, because that's the weak low. So the potential risk reward here is friendly. You've got some divergence here. Let me see if he's back yet. Looks like he's working on it. Into the IB high. When I talk about visualizing, so if I'm visualizing this trade, what would I want to see here? Go in, set the IB, come back down. Now we'll see if we get that. We got 8 minutes. That might be too much. So this might end up being the IB high. But that break of that swing high is substantial. Here, here's I did a little video training on this. I'm going to send it out in an email today. So look here, just to give you the idea, right? So here's the break of structure. Here's the retrace, right? Every break of structure is the setup for the retrace. That's the whole point, right? That's why we want to identify the break of structure. Break of structure, retrace, break of structure, retrace. Now, if I break here, the idea is not to say, oh, chase it. Now I've got a break of structure. So retrace, right? That's right. I mean, again, look, break of structure, shallow retrace, break of structure, deeper break of structure. In fact, the whole video I did, and again, Erwin and I are back and forth on this. We'll have it out later today. It's kind of a little bit of a training, since this is our indicator spotlight of the month, is the market structure. But just talking about the decision you have to make. Okay, is this one break enough to make a trend change? I actually want to see two to confirm the trend change. So here I've had 1, 2. So I know, right, with 2 breaks of structure, actually 3. Pardon me, there's another one here. I've got multiple breaks of structure. The trend is down. Trend is down now, currently here in the ES. So boy, where can I get the best risk reward? Well, let's see if I can do it. I always fuck this thing up a little bit. If I were to, if I was to enter right there, where's my target? That's 5R right there, right? So the idea being, if I can short it up here with my stop on the other side of the high, on the assumption that that's the high that should be strongest, as in a lot of money had to be committed to break the structure. So if you're selling up here, right, that's the idea. You're going to get stopped out, of course, right, many times, right? But look at the risk reward. That's the point, right? That's how you are successful over time. You got to be able to take those stops and not have it ruin your day, and say, okay, I'll take it again 100 out of 100 times. All right, let me get Skeff back and see if he's back on. All right. Okay, I think you should be good now. So
Yeah,
let me get you back.
If we are not time delayed and anybody is following this trade, check yourself, because this is a low probability trade. I'm risk on.
Looks good.
But let's get the stop in place.
Now, I think your resolution may be it's not as it may not be good enough here again. They can see that you're in it. We'll get this sorted out, guys. I apologize, fuck. I'm telling you, these things are harder to do than they appear. Right? It looks like, oh fuck, to turn the camera on and go. It's not that easy.
Nine handles. I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm up 9 handles on that.
Yeah, beautiful.
If I get a good footprint view on this, we'll know exactly what we're up against. Okay, so footprint chart. I'll stretch that out. Oh, shit. I'll stretch that out a little bit so we can see it.
Let me just double check.
We have cumulative green delta on the bottom. The last one had 30% increase in delta over the candle prior. It was a delta flip to the upside, and now we're kind of running out of gas. We've got 6 in the hand. So as an active day trader, and we are hitting a key level, whether or not we're going to continue to the upside is starting to wane, I believe. So I'm more likely to take 6 and get the hell out of here. We'll see what comes here. Yeah, I'm out there. So I think that banked only 4.5, and it may continue to the upside, but the likelihood of breaking the previous session open is pretty low. So I think
you switched it back to the other way.
I did.
Yeah, we're fucked again. As Simon says, it's spooked. Fuck. Yeah, you know what? We're just gonna have to use a different platform. We'll get a GoToWebinar or something. But so let's let me take it back.
Sure.
I think it's better if we go back to where we were, because they can't see shit.
Sure, I can do that.
Okay, so you go ahead and go back. I'll kill you for a second. Oh, live streams. They look so easy. They look like it should be so easy, but they're not. Okay, so here we're kind of picking up where we left off. Boy, if I got, on a small. Now this, I will often do this. So I'm just doubling. For my standard is a 2K, so I'm essentially just doubling that, just using a fib number for a bigger range here to say. So this would be probably closer to probably a 5 minute. But he's in the NQ. So shit, do I have NQ over here? I don't. Oh, let me hang on a second. Let's get what he's got. I think this is the trade he's in, right? That little retrace. As I've yours is fine now. Oh, good. Okay, Skeff's is still bad. We're gonna fix that. When in doubt, right? Like seriously, it can be this simple. When in doubt, what side of the McGinley is the market on, and what color is it? It seems silly, right? Can't be that simple. Do a little back testing on that. Now, we're going to make this available because Simon mentioned it's not quite the same, right? It's two different things. Whether it's the McGinley River is not quite the same, so it's hard to match this. So we're going to make this Gann high-low with the squeeze. Right? This was something I had Erwin make for me. Shit, probably 2 years ago, because I wanted it. And he he wasn't that excited about it. But now I use it on damn near everything I'm working with. But again, note when we come out of the squeeze, the McGinley is your tell. Out of the squeeze, what side do we go? Out of the squeeze, what side do we go? Out of the squeeze, where's the McGinley? Seems like it can't be that easy. Okay, looks like Skeff is back. So, all right, you back in the saddle?
Yeah, you tell me, because I can't tell what it looks like. But
yeah, that's better. Okay, I'm out.
What this is doing is it's making me just shift a lot of tabs, which is kind of tough. But this thing's still actually in a long. Let's get the market structure in there, because sometimes you find, oh yeah, it looked like it was in a long, but it's right into a supply zone, and it looks like the nearest you can barely see the shading because I used low opacity, but there's some supply or a buy block, sell block way up top there. I'm actually surprised that price pierced the blue line that it's at right now is previous session open. A lot of times that's just a brick wall, as you know. It's just a key level. And obviously, if you look at the last 4 or 5 candles, it's having a difficult time making inroads to a long, as the good old-fashioned Stochastic is rolling over, showing, hey, you might be overbought here. So we're above McGinley. We're above the VWAP. We're outside, and we're coming back inside the no trade zone. This is a wait and see situation. If we get into a buy program for whatever the reason, and we don't control that, we only react to it, we'll see price maintain some form of semblance of order above the one ATR, or even sometimes above the 2 ATR, and it'll run to the upside. I don't think that's going to happen here. If you think about Sam's methodology here, when you've got a low, you zip up to a high, bang, down here. If the McGinley were green, that would have been a great entry on the way up. I'm not sure this qualifies for a 3-leg move, but right now what I've got is a whole lot of zero. Let's look at the tick chart. And you can see right here, this is a supply zone. Price came up, supply zone. Hey, everybody, I got a lot of stuff for sale up here. Yeah, okay, bang, people. Grab that, down it goes to support. We have a green McGinley, price hitting support. Now, I use the Renko for these entries. And the reason is it's just full of honesty at this point. Yes, it's calling for 41.13 and I'm on a 25.5. That is 100% intentional. And the reason is, number one, I don't have to chase anything around. Number two, I'm very familiar with the way a 25.5 looks. So that's my go-to. And as you can see here, the first 3 candles were filtered out. It's done by brilliant math behind these indicators. Can't say enough about you two guys coming up with this right here on the Renko, being able to calculate where you in fact should have your stop, and where it in fact becomes, if it was a short. I use that every day, several times every day. So thanks very much for doing that. And because before that, it was all red and green, and you had to use a confluent indicator or just take your chances. If you get a higher high, higher low, and followed by a higher high, higher low, a lot of people by Renko theory just enter that, But what it's showing us again is this. I can draw it right out actually. If we're looking, to see where we are, that right there is our trading range. That's kind of tight. I mean, it's a little bit bigger than that. And also, if you look at the TMA bands, which I've learned to rely upon, they're not exactly giving us a wide range of possibilities. This is triggering a short by my own strategy. I'm not all that anxious to get in, because we really don't have tons of momentum. And here we are. The IB is now in 1030. So IB high is right here, and the IB low is lower than that. Where the hell is it? There it is, right there. IB low is way down here. So there's your frame. We've framed out a range. Pardon me. And as we see, that would have been a heck of a trade to sit in and bite my fingernails on. Not my favorite way to trade. So back to the devil's bands. We'll see what it says. Look, my boss kicked in and said, don't do anything. Yellow, yellow, yellow. We have +2 ATR, +1 ATR, McGinley, which is going green. And then, of course, the other 2 ATRs follow suit. This really wants long. I don't know about you, Sam, but this is a tough trade for me to ever consider taking long. I have stochastics to the downside. Looking at other views, tick chart, we won't worry about that one. The Renko shows we've got to bust some serious concrete to get up to a free zone of trade. So I got nothing to do here. One thing we can do for now. All right, it's already on. Sheesh. I like being given a chance. The green McGinley is nice. I like that. Stokes pointed down. That doesn't work with a green McGinley, and we're trading into retracements from a previous swing high to swing low. You can see that printed. By the way, that gives us a second. This market structure indicator is nuts. The amount of indications, the amount of data you get from that indicator, the way you guys built it, is phenomenal. I love the fact that I can just drop it, automatically drops fib retracements on there, so I know exactly where I stand. There's the days of me hitting F8 and drawing fibs, that's over. This indicator does it for me. And when I want to unclutter things by sometimes taking a lot of buy blocks, sell blocks, whatever, I just come here, I shut it off, and it cleans everything up. Look how beautiful, If the Stoke were down low and the 987, and the 987 and a stochastic love one another. So look at this market as agnostic, and let's just do a quick review. Stoke goes down, it's oversold, crosses over, comes out of the oversold region. Look at price. And then look what happens. It's overbought. Stoke crosses over, comes down out of the overbought region. You do get some downside. What's that telling you? Well, we got less downside than we did upside. Maybe we're in an uptrend. Look at the bands. They're conferring it. Stochastics come down. They run out of sell pressure. You get buy pressure plus momentum. Look what happens. Breaks the VWAP, takes off to the upside. So, and talk about literally, that is like one of the most pedestrian indicators there is. It's straight on a Ninja Trader. Not to take anything away from my Trade Devils brothers, but it's just another way to bolster the high tech stuff that we're using from Trade Devils. I'm going to go over the bands again, see what's happening. My boss has kicked in and said, hey, take 5. And that's what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm looking at, actually, some texts are coming through now. Simon, you're the man, by the way. Bobber70. That is my brother. So here we have, this may be tough for you to see, and it is for me at this resolution. It's really strange because it's huge. We have a potential, I don't know if it's going to go all the way, but a potential short building if it breaks through that 50% retracement. Really would like to show you a couple of good slammers, but we're at 10:35 right now. And typically at 11 o'clock, this particular trade plan on this indicator, the way I use it, no, I don't use it to find trends, trending trades that are above, +1 ATR and then hold them and slide my stop. I don't do that. I'm in and out quick. At 11 o'clock, that tends to stop happening on the Devil's bands, and I go over to Renko or ticks. Tick charts. Sam brought something up recently in a I think it was a live stream. If things get dodgy on your Renko, if you're trading, you're a Renko trader, and all of a sudden you're trying to follow the Renko settings, and you end up with 30, 10, 41, 42, 45, 50. Get off the Renkos and just get onto a tick chart. And here's, of course, what one of those looks like. I slapped a TMA set of TMA bands on there for obvious reasons. Watch how it works. Price comes up. We have a TMA touch. It also touches a key level, VWAP, and you're looking for shorts. Hey, look at that. Stochastic says, and price action says you take a short. It comes down, touches the TMA band, doesn't quite work its way to the upside. A little bit of McGinley indecision there. Comes down, makes a definite touch into what establishes a support level, and then you get support to stochastic to the upside, goes all the way up, touches the band on the top side, touches the band on the bottom side. Didn't quite get the touch on the top, but it might. So that's why I use TMA bands, scalper bands on and a McGinley on my tick chart. But when Renko is really high, like right now it's 37.12, I'm still at 25.5. I like the way the 25.5 looks in terms of its ability to point out 15 handle runners. That's a 15 handle move guaranteed. That's a 15 handle move, and both of them are longs. So I try to lock all that information in as I'm searching for trades. Back to the bands. Only got a few minutes left on this bad boy. And Sam, what's your feeling on the IB at this point? I don't know if you can hear me, or if I'm.
Yeah, man. Well, the ES is giving up. Well, I know you're an NQ trader, but I always watch the ES. So we're just giving up about 20 ticks off the Madonna.
No kidding.
Okay. There's 15 ticks. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that. So now of course you can't scalp with micros, right? So you got to do because you're only after, if I get 14 ticks on that, I'm thrilled, right? So my scalps go out at 5, right? And then I leave a runner. So you can't do it in micros, right? There's no point. But it's beautiful. It was a really lovely setup on the full size, and you saw it in the. Oh, let's see here. Let me get. Oh shit. Well, here, let's get the footprint. Hang on a second. It was pretty nice setup here, just to give them a little variety here, not to ruin your buzz at all by any means. Shit. Let's see. Does that work if I do this?
Got your message.
Okay.
Sam.
Right. So here's the push. This is actually a good example of what you're looking for. So here's the push up, and you're thinking, oh shit, man, they're really going to blow it. They're really going to break hard. Well, look at all the potential trap traders here. As soon as we get here, now they're nervous with a little change of character here. So I've got a new range here, but we came down here to this is a fair value gap. Now we start to come back. So what was there? Well, assume you're not going to get it until you come back in. So it gave up 13 ticks. Not worth doing on a micro, but not bad on the full size, right? So if you take it, I typically will do those on a 3 lot. First 2 go out at 5, and then you leave a runner, right? So if it gets to here, you're in good shape. I was just going for the McGinley. All right, so let me hand that back off to you.
That was nice,
right? Yeah,
that was
so
nice.
I mean, it's one to watch for every day, but it's not a micro trade.
Do you find though, Sam, that you could chart it with E-minis and actually, with Replicanto or something else?
Oh yeah,
flop it over.
Yeah. But I'll watch it if I'm trading it. I'm going to look at the full size because I want to see what the volume looks like.
Yep.
But yeah, I like that challenge. I think that's one that more people should do because I think the reason people have, it's the trailing drawdown is the killer of all of the proffers. But
No
to
doubt.
try and do it, if you can't do it with micros, what makes you think you can do it in full size, right? So it's a great test for people to see if you can do it in micros. You just have to reduce your expectation of what you can pull. So a good day in micros, if you can pull 500 in micros, you had a good day.
Hell
right?
yeah.
Don't keep going. It's, okay, 500, good. Okay, let's switch accounts or switch to whatever, right? Somehow make that switch. But if you can do 500 a day in micros, you're having a good day. The market has to be moving, right? You're not going to do that in a range-bound day.
Nope.
But if you've got a trending day, that's very doable with micros. And you don't have to go, you'd be doing 10 lots. I usually start with 2 in micros and we'll go up to a 10. I've been as much as a 14, but it's doable. I'll tell you what, that real men don't trade micros. That's bullshit, right? I mean, it's about risk management and also there should be some enjoyment in the process, right? So if you're just so fucking stressed with every trade, it takes the fun out of it. Right. And if you're like, oh fuck, man, I can't have 2 losers in a row. You get out too soon. You do all the things that emotion leads to. Whereas if you just relax with the micros, right, it just all of a sudden now you're trading, you're doing what you know to do rather than, oh fuck, it's down. It's 5 ticks. I better get out.
I like to recommend to everybody who asks, define what a paper cut is to you financially. What is a paper cut? It's not a
good analogy.
Not a scabbard into the belly. I mean, a paper cut, and how many times a day could you take a paper cut on one hand? Is it 3? Is it 4? That's personal, right? Yeah. But if a paper cut is $150 and you're not afraid to lose, to take 3 paper cuts in a day, and it's not going to change your perspective or ruin your weekend, then trade your paper cut. It's that simple because or walk the hell away. Sometimes I don't switch over to micros or wow, that tick chart's warming. I wonder what's going on in Renko. But I don't switch over to other things. I just get out because I'm not viewing the market correctly. God, I would love to take this trade here. I just can't do it.
Some days you're not in sync with it, and the second you get in, it goes the opposite direction. There are just days like that. I mean, it's just the reality of trading.
Those days to me, I'm either going to change my chart for a different look. Like if I'm on ticks, I'm going to Renko. And if I don't feel, the minute I get that feeling of uncomfortability, it's over. I walk away because I know that trade plan that we opened with, 9 times out of 10, of course, this is the one, but 9 times out of 10, I will be done by 10:15 a.m. Like I don't even get to see the IB, and to me, I don't need $500 either because I'm trading a 10 block. So, a $300 day is $3,000. I've had to change my thought process into an empirical thought process. It's not one trading account. It's not. It's a business. So, and if you do the math, if you've got 10 accounts or 20 accounts out there that are PA accounts, they're funded, and you put $100 a day in them, it's a $2,000 day times 5 days a week times 4.3 weeks a month times.
That's the way to do it.
I mean, that's
Irwin was the one who taught me that. That's what he does. Leveraging multiple accounts. He figured that out long ago.
It for me is the way to go. My stress level went down.
Which is the key right there. That's it, right? So then you can enjoy it.
Yep. I don't want to do, I left a lot of jobs. I've had a lot of careers. I retired from a lot of careers. And the last one was I managed a very large retail center, a home improvement retail center. I just gave it away there. It's one of two, right? I had 142 employees and the stress level was insane. It was crazy. Not to mention the hours are nuts. And I hated my boss. Now I still hate my boss that I work for myself.
Listen, being a manager, I've run quite a few businesses, that's not something you just gifted with. That's a skill set to be a good manager. I was always a terrible manager. It's hard. It's hard to do it.
Sam, with times changing the way they are, obviously managing has to change. So with 142, actually what ends up now being aggressive personalities, people who will literally look you in the eye and hit you with the stuff I would never say to a boss when I was younger. And they're not afraid.
No.
Or if they show up at all, so, management wasn't for me. I spent several years doing that and trading. I was trading, position trading then. Devil's Bands is trying to tempt me into a
I was going to say, I'm watching that. That looks like you got,
look what's above me though.
I see. I wouldn't take that myself. Right. That's just me, but you got to follow your system.
Yeah, this is where you ask yourself, am I a trader or an observer? That's right there. That was the signal to get in.
Yeah. So shit, here, I talked you out of it. All right, I'm going to shut up now.
I'm going to take it, even though it's right there. We've got a key level right there. And the Renko is going to help me out. Set the stop. It will take serious push to get through here, which is why I really want to freaking look at a footprint. Where did I put one? There we go. Hey, look at that. So I don't know what that looks like to you guys. It probably looks like a gaggle fuck, but there we go. Could get some. 12.
Big break of structure there. Big break.
12.
It blew through that high.
And I may take this out manually because I don't want to. Fuck it. That was 10 handles and it's mine.
Good one. Beautiful.
Now there you go. Let's review what just freaking happened, because this Devil's Bands system, when used this way, sorry, there's the Renko. Well, you can see the obvious. Renko obviously agreed, and we blew out a lot of garbage, which is nice. The Devil's Bands, wow, look what happened. Those are demand zones. So Devil's Bands comes up when everything went green. I was hesitant to take it because look at these key levels. These are from the prior session. It takes considerable momentum and volumes to smash through the previous session close, the previous session open, and to blast through again to ATR.
And the Stokes were right in line with it, right? Stokes were perfect for it.
Right. And if I had any balls, I'll be honest. Geez, I'm sorry for the language. I'm so politically incorrect, but
that's right. They're used to me. They're long over that. They're used to it.
But McGinley's going green, and you have even, I would have a hard time trading without all the confluence that I force myself to use. But McGinley going green, it went green, flattened out. I knew it was building upside momentum from looking at the Renko. It goes green. Obviously a horrible mistake right here. Another one. But even though it's just about touching that one ATR, I wouldn't have minded getting in early there, especially if I had seen a demand zone, which wasn't there. But these two levels right here, guys, they're critical for the, if you do that 100 times, you're not going to win 50 of them. Those are very strong indications. The reason I went for it was I was staring at the Renko and it was ticking off bars, and I had an indication here. This is an RSI. That's an RSI 7/3, and that's a momentum 12. So when it got above the 55, I started asking myself, why the hell am I not a trader here? So at that point, the question, am I a trader or an observer? I became a trader. I took the trade, win, lose, or draw. And the first indication that it's a good trade is when you go to Renko to set your stop, and your initial stop is like down here. So you're automatically sliding the stop way up toward entry. That is a great sign. And it makes you feel good, because even if the market turns against you and makes you its bitch, you're not going to lose 12, 15, 20 handles. You're going to take a 7-handle, 6-handle paper cut, move on. There's going to be more trades. And I wish, I can't seem to, at this resolution, show any of the trade data, the P&L. I can't show it. So I don't know. You know what? It's
next
cool.
week. We'll get it. We'll have it fixed by next week.
I have no friggin' idea where I am money-wise, and I love that, because I hate looking at money. I hate it. I don't.
I always tell them look at points, not money, especially with
Always
micros.
look at points. Always look at your hand. How many handles have I cleared? And right now, I couldn't even tell you with all of the resolution changes and shit. I generally keep a running total of how many handles I'm up or down, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't. I know these things when you hear a 15-year trader go, it doesn't matter. They have to sound absurd, Sam, right? Like, but it doesn't. And the reason is a tried and true trade plan, no matter how I finish today, will put me on top, whether it's today or tomorrow.
Over
I don't
time,
care.
right? Exactly. It's
by
following
the way,
plan.
and let's now segue into the fact that the whole system you're looking at is Trade Devils. I mean, it is. Aside of the fact that okay, we have tick candles in here, but that system right there, and I could draw a line. You just put the cursor there. Everything to the right of that said, "Don't be a dummy. Go green. Go long." And this is now consolidating into what might be maybe a bull flag. If that thing pops and goes to the upside and runs through all of this resistance, it'll show you just how strong this system is when you use the 1 and 2 ATR. By the way, I am not using a 100 candle look back. I'm using the fib number, a 144. And look what's happening, a bull flag. Well, let's see if it runs the whole way, but I'm not re-entering.
It's I'll show you what it just. Well, this will be interesting if it gets it. You're hitting this. You're hitting the golden zone from the high.
Oh, am I?
Right to the right. You see this?
Oh, I got you.
They're clearing it, right? They're clearing it. So there it is, right? So we're just through it. So we've got to have a close above, right? Do you see how it got wick through, which likely it'll keep rolling. So any little retrace here is a sign of strength. So, but look at the McGinley and the Gann high low, right? Look at the squeeze. What side do we come out of the squeeze? Look below and above.
Yep, there you go.
I mean, it's strikingly simple.
Yet there's a bunch of supply right above price, right? How far
now, this will be interesting because that's the break of structure, right? So here's the break of structure. Okay, so now remember, break of structure doesn't mean let's get long. It means now I wait for the retrace, right?
Wait for the retrace.
Right? Yeah, that's me as a retracement trader.
It's like exactly where's the pivot going to come in? Or will it? Sometimes a break of structure happens and it runs like crazy, but I really admire your ability to. I don't know why. Again, guys, one of the biggest things you can do is self-assessment. Be humble, be vulnerable to at least yourself, and maybe even your significant other. Try it on somebody else who's willing to listen, but tell yourself who you are. Are you the kind of person who is comfortable trading retracements? Are you the kind of person who's comfortable trading breakouts? I have watched your live streams several times. I know both you and Erwin do not like breakouts. I trade them all day long.
It's funny, isn't it? Right? There's no one right way to do it, which is kind of the idea of why I wanted to start bringing in other traders to show them using the tools in different ways.
It's key. It's key because some folks may watch the way you lay into a like a measured move, or you lay into the lightning bolt, the 3-leg pattern, and go, I can't freaking do that. Like, I'm one of those guys, even though I know the indications are good, everything's green, price trades back down into the McGinley, and I'm like, yet there are. Okay, here's a fact. Put 100 traders in front of the same chart, you'll get like 90 different reads.
Oh, for sure, right? Now add a little Elliott, it'll be 100 different trades.
And it's I know Elliott's fading in terms of the numbers of its usage, but I'll tell you what, it still works. I mean,
it's there, right? It's not always there, right? So people are always looking for it. I mean, you could put a wave count on this move right here, but why, right? I mean, there's no reason.
Where does it start? 1, 2, 3. Nope. 3 would be a more impulsive. It has to be the most impulsive wave of the Elliott wave. So you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. Yeah, and then are we gonna correct? Nah, I don't. I'm past it. There's so much out there that helps identify, like that last trade I took, that helps identify opportunity, which is really what this is about. Stack the probability in the favor of a positive outcome, and then just give the trade an opportunity. You saw me exit that trade. It ended up being a decent exit because I don't want to sit through 6 candles of pain. I don't want to sit.
Right.
If I've got 12 in my hand and I don't take it and it pulls back to 4, I hate that worse than losing a trade.
Oh, same here, right? It's what does the most psychological damage, right? That's all you always get. So if I take it now versus I give it back, what you know, what's more damaging? Or so that's how you got to evaluate your own judgment.
And it's and the key word is your own. Like here it is, Sam. I talked about it. Look at this. Now it's happening. We're retracing the McGinley's green. If you switch over to NQ, I don't know if you're on NQ, but McGinley's green.
Oh wait, I got MBS.
It's not flying, but right here. If you trade McGinley bounces, just ignore the Stoke. If you trade McGinley bounces, there's your bounce. Bang, long at 589.50.
Yeah, this would be. I may just grab this right here if we get a little.
Yeah, this is all you, dude, right here.
Yeah. I'm just gonna buy it.
You gonna take it?
I'm gonna take that.
And look at that green candle. Now we have a price action. Does this next candle break that high of the previous candle?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Right. So there's the pullback. We've broken the low the whole way down. So now can we break the high? If we break the high, then I would add to that.
Now I'm going to go over to a different chart. Like it's 11 o'clock, 10:54. Renko shows it's a downside trade. My system says this is a short. It also has no momentum, but I have 3 indications, 3 closed RSIs below the 45 right now. So that's, I can always talk myself out of trades, man. That's easy. But look at the ticks. I'll pull this down so it's more readable. God darn, Ninja, I hate it when it does that. There you go. It is a downside. Now, if it's seeking the downside and it touches that band, what's the next logical thing? Well, I'm waiting for a long setup. Either that, or if it goes sell program, it'll reverse the direction of the bands that come down and seek out. That is either a 1 week support level or a 1 day. I can tell by its thickness. So when price comes down to that area right there, which coincides with my beautiful Trade Devils support and resistance indicator right here. God, how awesome is that? Like, how easy does life get when I don't have to draw all these friggin' lines? And that was my the first indicator I bought from you guys, believe it or not. And it was like, make my life easier. At any rate, I digress. So we're red McGinley now, and down she comes to the bottom of the TMA bands with a downside Stoke. I could literally trade that chart as it is successfully without much of a problem. I could literally trade this chart loaded with Trade Devils technology with no problem. And look what happened there. Price came down to the previous close, and now it's trying to decide what it wants to be when it grows up, right? Down directly below that, we have the TMA scalping band, and we also have previous open. We did blow through them on the way up, but obviously the way up had the momentum. Right now we're in kind of weak momentum. It's 11 o'clock-ish, top of the hour. The top of the hour candles, obviously there are a lot of candles closed at the top of the hour. So everybody in all those time frames is deciding what they want to be. Can't blame them. I'm happy to be out at this point. Devils bands, back to that. We have red everywhere. However, look at this chart. How anxious are we as traders to take a short into that much demand? It's that right there. If I didn't have the market structure indicator, here's what I'd be looking at. Oh, look, a short. I can't wait for a candle to come down and break the -1 ATR, especially since it matches the Stoke. Now, it's not impossible, but if you look at all of the data, it's probably not going to happen. And now that we're approaching, 11 o'clock, I'm going to come off of this and move over to ticks and Renko's pretty much exclusively. But I will leave this obviously running in the background. Sam, do you have, based on your, by the way, thank you very much for your work in the initial balance. I never used it before until you. And obviously most of my trading is done in the opening range, but do you have specific times in which you come off, change your charting or your methodology or your trade plan?
Me?
Yeah.
If I'm having a bad day, it's not that I've changed the trade plan, but I might change the market, or I just would shake it up or take a break. But before I carry on here, I've got a question from one of our regular members. Sounds like relaxation. You should see his avatar. What is that? The sloth? Is it the sloth, the slowest moving animal? It's a perfect avatar for him. He's asking, how do I learn more about your plan? Right. So he's interested in your trading plan. Now, Skeff and I are talking about maybe working together and putting together a room where he's doing this on a more regular basis. So that's part of that discussion. But partly, I think, Skeff, do you have it in a way to where it's written down to where you could communicate it? Or is there more intuitive you've developed over time?
It is not in print. It is intuitive. And it's it's as discretionary as it gets, but there are certain, let's just look at what I'm doing right now. Okay. For instance, this is the Renko system. The trade plan is I must have 3 closed RSIs over the 55 level. So, paint filtration that you guys invented for me right now, I have 1 close over the 55 RSI, and the white dot there is the momentum 12, which is above its 0 line. So when I have 2 closed, 2, I'm waiting for the 3rd closed RSI, which is an RSI 7/3, on the 3rd hash, which would be the 3rd, the opening of that next candle, I enter long. I don't like to enter into key levels. Like that last win was a very non-typical trade for me, but I could tell by the momentum we were clicking off ticks really quick, and the Renkos were printing fast. So I do have a trade plan for the Devil's Bands. I do have one for ticks because they're similar, and I have one for the Renko. Renko, in order to keep, if I were to keep it ultimately simple, it's this simple. Try to get an assessment of where the overall direction of the market is, and we do that with, I don't know if it's going to come up. No. So I'm not going to go looking for it. I do that with the four chart view on time-based charts. And now why can't I get rid of that shit?
Well, keep in mind, if we head into a dedicated room, I think some of this will get sort of documented so people can follow along. That's what we're talking about. That's why we wanted to have Skeff on. We have confidence in his abilities, and so we're thinking about setting up rooms where he might do this on a regular basis. So that's part of it. And so sounds like relaxation. Stay tuned.
Yep. I'll give it to you in the Reader's Digest on this look right here. Renko 25 is my setting of choice, even though brilliant calculations are being done for you right here. That's up to you. You can use them. No problem. But for me, the 25.5 is where I like to be. Therefore, to go long, I must have 3 closed RSIs over 55. If the Renko candle itself is in agreement, meaning it's green, I take the trade. It's that simple. The trade plan then has a 12 handle stop, which is never left at 12. It drops in and I adjust it usually to 7 or 8 using what comes up on this very screen right here. That number, if it was a long, I would put my stop directly below it, and then I'd trail it up. If it falls out of thesis, it then turns against me. This trade right here, I would have closed manually. It's out of thesis. I need a higher high, higher low to stay in. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And that's basically it. The profit target, after studying NASDAQ, the NQ throws 15 handle wins, or 50. I'm sorry, I'm showing my age because a handle is everything to the left of the decimal point. So the NASDAQ throws 15 handle wins out like it's gumballs. And occasionally it'll throw out a 30, which, man, if you have a 2-position trade plan, if you've got the jack, or if you're back to Sam's point, if you're trading micros, you can slap two positions on there and let one attempt to run to 30 handles. There's gobs of ways to do it. But for me, it's a hard target at 15 handles because I know I can repeat that several times during the course of the day, especially during certain hours. 11 o'clock, things get a lot slower, so I can't use the Devil's Bands because I'm looking for momentum. And you can see, looks like the Jamaican flag right there. It's like, no, don't trade. Okay, so I then go over to ticks and have a good look at ticks, and then Renko, we discussed that plan. The tick plan is pretty simple. I kind of briefly went over it. If I just had a touch on the high side of the TMA bands, I'm more apt or likely to look for shorts. I use a lot of price action trading here, candlestick patterns. I do use the McGinley and previous levels. Right now, price is being held up by the previous close and the previous open. I say that and it'll break it. But real simple. It's a 12 handle initial stop, 15 handle profit target. The 12 gets adjusted immediately if you took a good trade. The first sign that I might be in trouble is if I take an entry. Let's say I took an entry on the Devil's Bands right now that things are slowing up as we approach the European close. If I don't get to adjust my stop, like go back to the Renko, if I dropped in on the previous look on the Devil's Bands and my stop ended up right here, inherently, I know I've got my work cut out for me on that trade, and I will take the trade off manually. I won't let the market take me out. Because it's a harder row to hoe if that happens. But typically, if you take a great entry, the 12 handle stop ends up like down here. And the first thing you get to do is go from like 571 up to 581. It's like, whoa, I just shaved my stop by 10 handles. That's how you know you've nailed an entry and the market is on your side. I hope that helps a little bit. Back to ticks, have a look there. And, of course, we're looking at the McGinley change color back and forth. I had started to say, and I don't know if this is going to make Irwin's, I almost said his hair curl, but that's not going to happen. I don't use the 100 candle look back on the bands. I use 144. I'm a fib guy. I'm going to do some experimentation, some back testing with the 89 because that's also a fib number. Inherently, it looks back at 100 candles and then gives you the diagnosis as to whether or not you're in something like this right here. That is, forget where price went against the no trade zone. That's a chop zone. Look at the price and look what these beautiful yellow lines told you. They told you to sit on your hands, right? So we're going to get off Devil's Bands because I don't want to be tempted to take a trade on something that is best off, in my estimation, in a higher momentum, more impulsive or range expansion market. So here's the 25.5, kind of stuck in a range. This has been the theme of the day, Sam. It's like rangy. Like we've got
but you've got the runs you've participated in.
Yep.
And now, okay, well, fuck, it's 11 o'clock, right? Europe's starting to close. It's, we slow down, right? It's likely not good until 1:30, 2 o'clock.
Isn't it strange? I never traded 1:30 until about a year ago. I started doing a lot more analysis and noticing that at 1:30, for some reason, some really good intraday swings come up. Another thing I noticed was the European, London closed at 11:30. There's a lot of rebalancing.
Definitely.
And it was, obviously options, closing up. I never traded that hour before. Lately, I've been paying very close attention to it because some pretty sweet moves have been coming out of 11:30. Now that the whole debt thing is negotiated and behind us, we're seeing a lot more politeness in the market. Whereas market makers aren't making huge adjustments to what they got clobbered with on calls, selling options. So we're going into that close. I'm not seeing the biggest moves that, like we used to, but I still watch it. But predominantly my scalping trade plan using the Renko is generally around noon to 1. And then I take a break 1 to 1:30, come back. And to be honest with you, if I've made 30 or 40 handles on a day, which is normal, I'm done. It's a walk away. I don't care.
Why risk giving it back, right?
Yep. Don't want
to go off and take a hike, walk, ride your bike, do something else.
Yeah, see some sunshine.
Yeah.
This office in particular, the lovely green room back here, where all my guitars are, and my luthiery shop is behind me, is in a basement. So there are there's very little ambient light here. So I cannot wait to finish and get outside.
Okay, so Skeff, I have a suggestion for you for one. So here's the comment, and I'm quoting: "This is an outstanding live stream. Please keep these coming. You need to create the Music Man Skeff indicator package." But then he finishes with, "Since I came up with the idea, can I have it for free with a word?"
Sure.
Yeah, that could work. The Music Man package.
I wanted
to read
to
the charts like the music.
I actually wanted to talk to you guys about that because not on a day like today. Today is not the best day for my particular style of trade. However, it's not a worry because it's not a day, it's a career, right? It's not a trade, it's a day. It's not a day, it's a career, or a week. You can think of it any way you want. I will tell you there is a hole in the wall across the hall from where I'm sitting right now from a day that didn't go too well, and I didn't have the brains to walk away. Don't
No,
get there. Don't get there. That was a
I
20
know.
pounds. I'm a skinny guy, but that was a 20-pound stool that did that. You can't let a temporary setback. I used to tell people you don't lose, you just temporarily misallocate your funds.
That's right.
And now it's your job to
Into
go get it
somebody
back.
else's wallet.
Tomorrow's tomorrow. Go get it back tomorrow. Don't worry about it. This particular chart we're looking at right now is crap. So I've got a chance to talk to that humorous.
I've got a runner still. I took the long once we retraced to the IB, just because I know that's.
Did you on the ES or on the NQ?
This is on the NQ.
Nice.
Let's see. I've still got a runner here, right? So when we came back here, I took 4. And my target was the value area high, which we just wicked, right? And now we're coming off of that. So, but now again, so
you're killing it. Look at you.
Well, right, again, it's ticks, not right. So micros, right? The dollars aren't big.
Yeah, but what was entry price?
Because it's micros, I was able to sit through that and not be stressing, because it's like, fuck, okay, whatever, right? If it gets stopped out, okay, next trade. But it waffled through all that, and then we finally got the little launch here, went up to the value or high, which was like a reasonable. Okay, there's also a fair value gap there. Now it doesn't really matter what happens next. Here's the week high, so you're just following what the market is offering. Okay, maybe it comes. Here's the internal. If we're going to roll over for lunchtime, wouldn't be surprising. Okay, so if that gets stopped, so be it. Now we're in a squeeze, but it was. The point being, you wouldn't normally. I mean, here's where I entered, right, on this as we went up. Then you had to sit through all of that.
Oh yeah,
right. In a full size, no way. If I was in a 4-lot full size micros, no way I would have sat through that.
No, I'd have bloody fingernails already.
Yeah, right. Because 200-300 down. Shit, right? I mean, some of the swing from that high to that low is 40 ticks. You're in a 3-lot full size. You're not having fun.
Yeah.
Right, you're probably bailing, right? Instead of just going, okay, relax, right? It's just going sideways, high volume node. We know the support is here.
Yep.
Now, are we going to kick? Maybe the time of day is we need to retrace back towards VWAP, but maybe, right? You can just let it run. Yeah. That's the point, right? So micros really, particularly for people that haven't been, that are not doing consistently $3, $4, $5 a week. Micros were a gift to the traders. Really, they were.
For sure. And the fact that we now have a trade copier that allows us to literally trade as we are trading the NQ using that charting as opposed to the micro charting, and flip it into a micro is a lovely thing. I've got it on my. I keep one little cash account, Sam, on Ninja, because I have absolutely no skin in the game. This is the advent of the prop firm, but I have that ratio down substantially, and all it does is just pay my data feeds. It's like paying the bills for me.
Exactly.
But, micros help establish what is a paper cut. And look at this. You may have some upside coming, my friend.
Well, it's simple target, right? Where's the week high, right? That's all the target is, the session high. Now, can we get up there? I always do a tick ahead of it just in case they go grab liquidity.
Always. That is such a heartbreaker. I can't tell you how many times that's happened to me.
My number one touch no fill on a target. Oh, that fucking pisses me off.
You can tell I got a high fade, but there's no hair on this head. And what's on it, I want to rip it out when that happens.
Touch no fill. Oh,
so basically I basically put the spread in there, and then I take a tick off it as well. I mean, like, hit the damn thing. Yeah. And of course I've got hotkeys, and if it doesn't hit it, and the time exposure is making me uncomfortable, I'll just take it.
But that's very true, right? Time in is, you're just adding risk. The longer you're in, it should, best trades, it should happen relatively quickly.
Well, thanks to Trade Devils, my average time in market, I looked at it yesterday, was 2 minutes, 20 seconds.
That's perfect, right? Anything longer than that, you get twitchy.
Yeah. And it's me. Again, self-realization. It's me. I'm the problem with that. I know lots of people that can sit through pain, and they'll take a trade where I wouldn't have even taken the entry. They'll sit through pain and wait for it to go where they had conviction that it would go, and spend an hour and a half in a 3-lot on the NAS. And I'm like,
I do not have fun. That is not fun for me. Partly because it's hard for me to take my attention off of it completely.
Yeah.
So it just kind of locks you into like, oh, fuck, I can't really do anything else because I'm watching this trade, even though I'm kind of telling myself I can, but I'm always kind of watching it, especially if it's a 3-lot full size, right? Where it can be $500 swings.
And there are valid trade plans, and this makes sense. To have a stop, you're comfortable. Your only concern is how much can I lose, not how much can I make. And you place the trade, stop goes where it needs to go, profit target goes to a key level or wherever it is that you decide, and hopefully it's a 1-to-2 ratio, and you walk the frig away. I'm not good at that. I'm not. And in that realization, I became a very short-term hold scalper.
Well, that's
And there have been days, Simon, by the way, can attest to this. There have been days where I did 13 to 15 five handle trades. And it's like, I don't care how the money comes. I care about the ease with which it was earned. Did I stress during the course of that day? Was it a day where very, very short holds were appropriate? And did I leave 100 handles on the table because I was an impatient bastard? You know what I mean? It's like, you gotta weigh yourself out. I have no problem taking 8 handles out of a trade and watching it make another 20 for my buddies after I've already counted the 8 handles.
Yeah, and just be happy for them.
Yep, that's it. And we know this market is going to keep throwing trades at us. There are certain times, if you look at one day in particular, this market may not throw trades consistently through 11 o'clock, but I know something's coming. And by the way, this is acting right now. I will probably have a good scalp session between noon and 1. And the reason I say that is, let's see if it's still doing it. There it is, right there. That range right there. I don't know if you got that. Yeah, you can see it. If I can take a couple of cycles that are giving me 5s up and down, if it's agnostic and price stays that way, sure, I'll take 3 or 4 of those. Why not?
Okay, this will be interesting. If we come out of this squeeze with a rip, you can't get over that value area high.
Is that squeeze breaking? Is it
still on? Still squeezing.
It's still squeezing. Okay,
but the McGinley's above the Gann high low.
I've got what I've got looks like it would be a squeeze if I were running one. From let's see, what time would that be? 10:50.
You can just look at the chart and tell it's a squeeze, right?
Yep. 10:54.07 to current. Nothing's broken out of there. There is no price action pattern to speak of. So that compression, for those who don't know what a squeeze is, when stuff compresses, and power builds on the inside of that squeeze, eventually it's got to let loose. Boom. And when it fires, it either fires to the long side or to the short side. The trick is having an indicator like a McGinley to know what side you preferably be on for the pop. Session highs.
It's amazingly consistent. Like I stumbled across it. I was just like, well, let me see if I put that on top of that, what that looks like. And it's one of the most consistent indicators I use. I mean, we're still in the squeeze here, but we got above the value area high here.
And that squeeze could fire.
There's the value area. Here's the value area high right here. Can't see it. And there's a high fair value gap here. It's wrestling with that. So we're still in the squeeze. It started to go. I mean, again, this is a runner, so it's no big deal, but you'd like to see this, right? So they're testing this here. We're not going anywhere. There's no real reason for it to go up or down. Natural drift will be higher, but we've been here for a while. What we want is this last little squeeze. So sometimes you got to get a little bit early, but like here, right? So if I were, we don't need to wait until there's not a yellow dot to take that trade. I mean, you could have taken the push past these highs when you cleared that. So this fair value gap has been mitigated. So reasonable target up here. Again, it's just this is the internal high. The swing high is actually up here, but these little dots here are, never ignore those. That's a pivot. Let's see if I can find it. That's going to be a pivot from a couple of days ago that will be meaningful to the market. It's so far back I can't find it. So it pinged here. Irwin built those in early on, and I kept saying to him, "What are those dots?" And he said, "Oh man, those are key pivots from prior levels." So that's something you always want to be mindful of because the market will respond there. So I'm going to go back.
Absolutely.
To my target, right? It's
what is the Sam? What is the in handles? What is the size of your profit target from entry?
This would have been in handles. 62 tick, 20 points.
That's great. I mean, that's
with a risk of probably 15
for now.
Right. Right. If I'm holding it here, that's 32, but there's no reason to Might come up a little bit.
Well,
If it
what we
goes-
have below price is a help for you as well. Those two key levels I discussed, the previous market close and open are very, very close to one another, and they're directly below price. Then you got support from your indicator actually at 14,580. I don't know where your what was entry.
586.50.
There you go. So 586.50 is roughly it's just above previous session open and just below previous session close, and price is above both of those. So you actually have very well controlled downside risk.
Yeah, and I just used the IB high, where that was the break of structure. It's also the IB. So let's see if we can get this thing to come out of here. The devil's edge, right, is another momentous. It's just a very fancy MACD. We're in the water, tight squeeze, right? So this is also a great feature here. Do you see how tight the river is here, right? Oh, so that's tight. Like that's about as tight as it gets. So very easy to get on the other side of it to get out of the river. But boy, talk about a tight squeeze, right? You can just see like why, right? Why? Again, there's no impetus, right? There's no real reason for it to be flying, no reason for it to be falling.
True.
So this is just going to be trade manipulation. So what is the market going to do? It's going to head towards liquidity. Where's the liquidity? At those pivots.
Yep.
There's some down here, but bulls have got it. So it's likely going to challenge this pivot. These become all of this, right? Potential liquidity. Here's your internal high. So easily could pop up here. Then you got a big golden zone up here, right? So you got to watch for that as well.
Yep.
But this one here as well. See this. Now I will say this: if I was in the full size here, I'd move this up.
Gotcha.
To that low, but because it's micros, I give it a little more room to breathe. I mean, I just
if the NQ needs room, it does.
It does, right? Because it can just wiggle you out. This is really the premise of the trade, that we'd come back to the IB, right? That's natural support, right? Bulls are going to do everything they can to keep it out. Bears want to try and get it back in. If they can't get it back in, right, off we go. So let's get
indications I have here make it look likely, although we have some contradiction between the old school indicators and the good and the new stuff. And just for laughs, we'll look at the bands. Yeah, the bands have us in a no trade.
Yeah. So it wouldn't be an ideal time to be entering, but if you look at where the entry was, right, it was right at the edge of it.
One tiny concern looking at the bands was that at 11 Eastern time, 11:17 and 51 seconds, there was an attempt to break out of one ETR and it failed.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is just simply it could just simply be part of the squeeze as containment,
It's just the market's no one's particularly interested in trading. I'm sure if you look at the size here, volume's down. We're doing let's see, I've got a 1350 is what I use in the micro NQs. They got me.
You stopped out.
They got me, right? So I mean, winning trade, the runner gets stopped, but but it's a winner because it was a 4 lot. So the first 3, offset the loser. But it's just sitting in that the market tends to do that. You can almost feel the gravity kick in.
Yeah.
It's that sideways, that long. We never did come out of the squeeze. So it's still a squeeze. So all that happened there is they just ran the stops below.
Yep.
That's all they did.
Which may be by intent. We're obviously, how long have we been watching that kind of thing where an algo just says, hey, I know where the stops are. I'll just take those and reverse the bitch.
Right. You can kind of see what they did here. Right. So here, all the stops, including mine, were right here. Right. So they wicked them. Now we back in, but there's an order block here and we're still the squeeze is still going. We haven't come out of the squeeze because we're still yellow dots, right? And still down below, right? Still in a squeeze. See, now I look at that and think, okay, well, we've had the break of structure, so we're anticipating the retrace. Oh, you'd see it a little bit better on a higher time frame.
Now, had I been in full-fledged, I'm not an observer. I'm trading the Renko scalps, which it's too early for me to do that. This system that I have shows me a short on the 25.5. So let's see where entry would have been. Entry would have been right here. And good luck nailing those entries on Renko's, but that's a 589 short and would be up 8, 9 handles as it hits a key level. Still in no man's land, though. I mean, there's so many levels here. It's just like, it's easier to sit and not lose than it is to get in and have to work a win. But you had a 4-lot out on there, huh? You took the first 3 out.
So the first 3 were out right at the value area high. So here, this is on with the measured move indicator on it. So you can see how many we pinged. 1, 2. Here we're hitting a 50 golden zone 3. So this was also right. I could see this on the other chart here. When we got in between that pocket when we came out of there. But here's the target. We didn't get it right, and now we've. Have we broken it? It doesn't look like we've got a close. Just like wait, so there's a close below. So this one now is a failed measured move. Right now, remember for every one that you see, you're like, God, look at them all. Right? There's always one on the other side that fails. So you see how that target now is gone because this is a failed measured move. Now we come back into this one. Now we'll see. So that's actually right. So sitting through all of this, like, oh, if we can't get a new high, what are I call them whales, banks, financial institutions, BFIs, whatever you want to call them, whales. I just call them whales. What are they going to do here? If we can't get a new high, they're going to go, fuck it, we'll take it down.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
We'll sweep out the weak longs, the people who are hanging on like me, right? Say, okay, maybe we get a push up to the high. We'll sweep them out, come back to VWAP. Here's VWAP, and we'll reset the whole thing.
Yep.
So now remember, right? Retail always wants to get long. They always want to long it, right? So and the market makers know that. So, this potentially is a setup here. We'll see, but that's a pretty good drop off. It actually did this something like this yesterday, where we stalled, and then boy, it brought the hammer in the ES, like big, wide ranging bars with huge sweeps. So if you look at this, oh shit, here's
breaking the internal low in the NQ.
Yeah, right. So here you can see the size came in there, right? Big lots, right? Big sweep down here, right? So this is just they're just crushing longs here. It's just getting buried, which actually, unless there's news behind this that I usually have financial juice on. Unless there's news on this, look where we come. Golden zone. Now we may break that. I mean, that something triggered that more than just typical trading volume.
Well, again, approaching 11:32. Like I'm not sure what they're rebalancing.
Which is about the time we'll wrap, right? So we won't keep you all day.
Yeah, I don't care. I'll stay here all day.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit. Yeah. Are you kidding?
Well, it gets long. These things, people watch live streams. They don't. It's actually hard to do. It's hard to trade and teach and talk and demonstrate at the same time, and
you wouldn't think
trade
so.
Effectively. It's you'd think it would be easy. It's harder to do than you realize. Okay,
I just scanned the financial news. I got nothing in news, Sam.
Okay, I'm going to show this here just for the theory, right? Because again, I just doing a whole video series on this. Okay.
The only thing that came up was 24 minutes ago, and it was a headline: Goldman Sachs lowers the chance the U.S. could slide into recession. I find the news funny.
This is good. God, I can't script this shit any better. I literally cannot make this up. Okay, so here's the break of structure. Now, after the break of structure, what is it we want to see? What is it we're waiting for? Retracement. Well, if it's going to retrace, where would be the ideal place for it to retrace for us? Golden zone.
That's a golden zone. Yeah.
Boom. Right. So we know we have a target up here. Well, this is not the measured move indicator. This is just the golden zone that's built into the market structure. Right. I have it set to show me golden zones in a 50. So we literally ticked the 65. I can't make.
We did.
Right. That's 65 to the tick. Now, if we're going to come up here, where's the target? That's the weak high. This is the strong low. So in theory, right, the theory behind, you got to understand the theory before you can trade it. That this low should be protected because whales had to commit a lot of money to break the structure because we were in a downtrend, right? So break the structure. Oh God, maybe I'll get a retrace. Maybe I'll get that retrace to the golden zone. I mean, I took it on another monitor because I saw it. But that's just a textbook. Like, you can't make this shit up. Now, okay. Now remember, coming back the other direction, there's an algo on the other side, right? So it's going to be a fist fight between this algo and this algo, like it is in every swing at every degree but it's constant, right? That's all that happens. But what gives you the advantage here is that now I can make a distinction between this low and this low. I know one of them is more likely to break than the other. Not inevitable, just probable. The probability is that this now is the week low. So this becomes the target. So
Yeah.
we'll see, right, if we can break through that, right, because there will be resistance there, because this could easily say, okay, right, this might be, oh, we got to come down lower where there'll be an order block or a demand zone or whatever you want to call them down here. That's where it was the start of this push. So it could be where this would roll over. We're going to come down here to this target, hit a demand zone here. But I know of the two, it's not like, well, fuck, I don't know which one's going to, shit, how do we know? Well, now I have something to give me a clue as to which is more likely to break.
Right.
If that makes sense, right? So as we come up here, okay, so I mean, you know, shit, I mean, it's just micros, but let's see how many points we got off that. 12 handles. All right. I mean, it's not a bad trade. So just something to, I'm kind of literally, that was the video I recorded last night, which is going to go out in an email today, because this is our indicator of the month. Okay, right. Swing, retrace, break of structure, retrace. It's like drop dead. Like, you know, half the battle in trading is trying to keep it simple. Very easy to complicate it.
I recently spoke to a software developer, and he's been a trader for 30 years. So he got twice the experience I do, and he's a software developer for trading. And I said to him, I said something to the effect of, you know, but what about this and what about that? And when do I do it? You know, it's typical frickin' junior trader at 15 years. And he said, Mike, listen, your number one job is to keep your trading day as boring as is humanly possible.
That's a good way to look at
it. I thought about that and went, oh shit, that's right.
Well, listen, when I was a broker, and I've told the story many times, I used to tell people my job was not to help people manage money. My job was adult entertainment, right? My job was to take a guy who had a boring job. I had a lot of doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, people in management. They're fucking bored, right? So they'd call me up, and my job was to add a little dopamine into the day, right? Okay, well, you know, what's going on, and you know, what's the S&P doing today? What's the NQ doing? What are the beans doing? You know, look at live hogs, right? That's what I used to do, and try and make it interesting. But that was back when we did everything. Well, there I'm getting my targets off of that trade I just showed you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
that was the thing, right? So it really didn't matter win, lose, draw. It's like going to Vegas, right? It's the thrill, it's the dopamine shot.
Yeah. You know, my former line of work was hopping out of airplanes, and you know, after 7,000, 6,800 jumps, I don't have any adrenaline left. Yeah. So honestly, adrenaline's finite. People don't know that. When that gland's done, it's done. Yeah, I still get, you know, a little bit of nervousness or overly engaged in a potential opportunity. Like for instance, this one's pissing me off a bit because I had a very clean entry and decided not to take it. I sat as an observer, but I get what you're saying though. Some people are in it for the charge and in it for the risk. We as retail traders and in many cases fostering newer retail traders and being fortunate enough, and that's a gift from God to be able to do that and pay it forward. We have to try and teach them the opposite. You know, it's like getting all jacked up full of adrenaline is not a good thing.
No. And that's what many people mistake that's what trading's about, right? And if they knew, like the best traders, it should be very boring. They're like, well, why do I want to do this, right? Well, the best traders are often quite profitable. This is the reason I like this is, again, because we work with so many traders approaching this from different mindsets, is can I simplify the market structure, which is, you know, it's funny, SMC, smart market. Now there's a lot of nuance to it, but the basics of it are as old as shit. I mean, since they were drawing charts on rice paper, higher high, higher low. How do we define a trend?
Right.
You know, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Okay, when does that change? Oh, lower low, lower high. It's that drop dead simple. And then all the nuance comes into, you know, adding liquidity and order blocks and fair value gaps and all the other little, you know, pieces that are part of it, because market makers know all of this, right? And their job is to pick your pockets, right? That's how they make their living, right? So they're going to take advantage of all of the tendencies that retail traders have and all of the preconceived notions about what trading is about, and they play on that, and that's how they are so profitable.
And tell everybody, be the 5. You know, don't be the 95.
Right.
It's hard.
Yeah, I always say this is the hardest easy money you'll ever make, right? There is no harder way to make it.
You couldn't be more right. I catch myself saying all the time, it's the hardest job in the world. Don't get me wrong. it's not carrying 3 bundles of shingles up a 32-foot ladder in 120-degree heat in Phoenix, you know, but it is by far, number one, the loneliest job in the world if you do it long enough, right? And not like days like today, which is why I could do this until close, but it is extremely difficult because the number one nemesis is you.
Oh yeah, we're always. That's so the no truer words have been spoken. We're our own worst enemy in every way, right? Whether how we take the trade, how we manage the risk, how we manage the reward. And I will say that one of the differences now, but back to when I was a broker in the 90s, you know, it is lonely if you're just trading by yourself in a vacuum, but now we're also connected. So just something like a Discord group makes you feel like, oh, I'm not by myself all day. I'm talking to 20, you know, shit, for me, it's 3,000 people that are kind of watching me. So I feel anything but alone.
Which can work against you.
Yeah.
Which can work against you when you're the dude trading. You know, like people are like, okay, pal, what do you have?
Well,
what we have is given to us by the trade gods, you know, and being there enough, if not all the time, being there enough of the time that you can in order to get a good opportunity is the key.
Right. You know? And just the stubbornness to say, okay, you know, I'm going to keep at it until I learn, right? So much of this is just screen time, right? Can you put the time in, right? It's very hard to start off and just, you know, kill it right out of the gate. There's just there's a learning process like any skill set.
I'm not a fan of trading systems. I do use them to a certain extent, but in recent history, it's happened again. Systems come, systems go. You have to learn how to trade. What's behind every system? Well, there's candlestick data. If you want to break it down, let's just say it's candlestick data. It's either time-based, it's tick-based, it's volume candle-based, or line chart. I don't care what you're looking at. There's trading behind every system, and indexes change. You know, look at what happened, Sam, with the 0 DTE stuff and what that did to options, which then changed the
completely changed the market. That is completely changed the volatility levels in the market. It's really pretty dramatic.
Yep. Before Dodd-Frank, I had a $5,000 Forex account and was, I think I was at 500 to 1. I don't remember if it was that high, but I know it was over 200 to 1. And I would rip $6,500, $7,500 a month profit out of a $5,000 account, start over every month. And I mean, it was crazy. I thought, well, shit, my prayers have been answered. I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. You know, along comes regulatory and says, Americans get 50 to 1, go screw yourself. Yeah. Now, my best friend was an American who moved to France, and he was still getting 200 to 1. And it was like, what the hell's going on? So I had to find.
There aren't going to be a whole lot of places for U.S. residents to trade crypto anymore, right? I mean, they're coming after Binance, which is.
Well, we know why.
Here's the thing, right? So it's going to put a dent in it. It's going to slow it down a little bit. They are not going to stop it. Bitcoin with this. There's no way they're stopping Bitcoin. We're way too far out of the gate.
How much of that reality do you think is based on the fact that we're going to a central digital currency?
Well, that's hugely part of it, right? Yep. But they're trying to regulate here, and people are just going to use VPNs. They're not going to stop it. It's way too far. But all the U.S. exchanges, they're going to lose all that revenue. They're all moving overseas, right? Coinbase is moving to Dubai. Kraken is essentially damn near over. I mean, Binance US is about to get shut down by the SEC, and it's all about security regulation. Well, Bitcoin and Ethereum should be insulated from that because they're not calling them securities. Bitcoin, you can't call Bitcoin anything that doesn't have a president that is issuing tokens. Well, we don't have a problem there. Anything else is vulnerable.
You know, my biggest concern obviously is how it's going to affect our market, this market, you know, and this is a very different futures market than it was when I first started trading futures.
Very.
You know, I mean, I remember, honestly, Sam, check this out. When I first started trading futures as a momentum trader, I traded the ES. I traded volume candles on NT7, and people aren't going to believe me. The size of the candlestick, I got to read what it was. Hold on a sec. 10,946 was my candle. So it took 10,946 contracts to make one candlestick, and this thing used to throw candles at me faster than I could react at. I mean, think about what that means by comparison now. You know, now you look at the S&P, it's a strong, high volume instrument, but 10,946, those days are gone.
Mm.
They're gone. You can't, if you go ahead on Ninja, when you get a chance, guys, just go ahead and populate volumes for your candlesticks and select 10,946. There'll be like, I don't know how many, Sam, like 20 of them a day.
Yeah.
You know, I used to get flurries of activity with that setting. It's all markets change, the exchanges change, the instruments change, instruments are added. We didn't have micros until a couple of years ago, and
Yeah.
it all
Didn't have
changes.
zero DTE until
Yep.
a few years ago, and then we didn't have zero DTEs on every single day like we do now. Right? It's very
Yep. So in as much, you know, the bottom line on that initial statement I made was systems are great, but learn to trade. You know, it's and you what I've seen you do in the live streams I've been able to break away from where I'm at on and come over and sit in. Were just early days where I was done for whatever the reason. I was done, made some money, come on over and see Sam and Erwin trade. The technical analysis, the actual science that you have behind all of it is something that I need to absorb and even more, because it'll only help the way I trade.
Yeah.
You know, the way I trade very loose. I'm very surprised I didn't take this long, actually, but I trade very loose, and in some cases fast markets. I even scalp the Fed minutes. I mean,
oh, that's risky.
Oh, it's great. It's a lot of fun though. The next time it comes up, I'll probably give it another whirl. The last time I did 140 handles in 20 minutes.
Oh,
yeah, that was a good day. I don't
when
think
you get on the right side of that, right? It's just knowing when to get out. Boy, this is agnostic. You've got this run. You can see this run that's happening. Oh, let's see. Oh, I'm in the ES. It's a nice run here. So it's just hit the golden zone from above, right? Which is where it's always going to pause. Always. There's going to be a reaction there. Here, I'll show you what I'm looking at.
Yeah. Pop it up.
Right. So here's the golden zone right here. So if I, oh shit, I don't want that. Well, here you can see it. Sometimes that thing. Here's the golden zone, right?
Yep.
So we're not through that yet. So I'd probably come up a hair, right? So there's VWAP right there. So there's one standard deviation, right? So we came from it. Now, question: Will the IB? The other thing that is striking, I don't know if you've noticed this, but when you're working with Renko, you see how because of the way the Renko blocks are formed, the volume shots really stand out. So I look here. Let's see if I zoom in there. You can really see this.
Oh, wow.
So do you see here this, right? So this is just up down volume. It's just native Ninja, nothing fancy. But because these are moving and the way they're formed, you see the wick here. So there was an effort here. Oh, let's see if I can do this. There was an effort here to bring this down, right? But look at all the volume that stayed, right? So we didn't flip, right? We've got to go a certain distance to flip to a red, right? We didn't get there. All of that push, right? So we know it gives you a visual representation of where the volume support is. Where did traders step in, right? Well, that's some fucking big volume here for micros. So they stepped in here to push that. Now, you know, we can probably go under this pivot here.
Sam, was that the McGinley? That center line, is that a McGinley?
Yes, that's the McGinley, and then it's just one ATR on either side.
Gotcha.
That's all I'm doing, right? Same, just as you. I think same as you, and then I've got the no trade zone over here.
Yep.
So it's pinging the McGinley. So it's just like having a McGinley on here, just with one standard ATR. The thing about the 7-2 that is remarkable is how it nails the measured moves. Holy shit!
Really?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look, 6, 7. Look at the pivot here, right? That's what I took.
Yeah, right on it.
Right. I mean, it's just unbelievable how consistent that 7-2 is. We just look from the open. 1. Here's a target. So here's this one getting a target. Nothing here. Here's one. Gets its target down here, and it's getting its target while it's hitting 50s. Then here's the golden zone, targets, golden zone. It's just nonstop. It's not. Wow. It's just it's like getting an X-ray of the markets. How consistent that measured move is, right? I mean, people are like, "Fuck, this guy never shuts up about the measured move." Seriously, like, do I need to put something else in front of you to say you might want to pay attention to that?
Yeah. I generally don't.
I always challenge people. Show me another indicator that's had 8 positive winning trades so far. Show me one, and I can do this on any time.
What time was that, Sam? What time was that? They all began.
This is a 7-2 TDU Renko.
And what time was the first measure move successful?
The very first one was pre-market. So here into the market, here's the first one. Well, right? So here's the first one, swing into a cluster of golden zones because I have 2 pivots and it's going to draw from all those pivots. So I've actually got this one, and this one. That's why you see a cluster.
Yep.
Here it is getting its target as it's hitting another 50. Goes up, here's the next one. Gets its target right here. Goes up, here's the next one. Gets its targets right here. Goes up, what do we hit here? Golden zone. Down, here's a golden zone, gets its target here. We keep coming down. Here's golden zone. Where's the target? Up above. Right? Where did we just ping? Right? Where did we just hit? Golden zone.
Yeah.
It's non-fucking stop, right? It's just
crazy.
It's in a way, it's a pain in the ass because you're in that trade. You're like, oh fuck, golden zone. Like, so then you got to decide, do I want to take profit here? Because there's high probability at every golden zone you're going to get a reaction. Look at the reaction I got. I flipped the candles. Now I may not break here. I'm going to hold my stop in there, so I'm locking in a little profit. But I know why. The always question is, why does it stop there? Why there? Why there? Why there? Why there? Why there? Why? Well, that this is very revealing. That's why. That's why I hit a fucking golden zone. An algo fired. That's all that happened there.
Right.
And here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here. Right. That, as I've said 1,000 times, and people are tired of me talking about it. This is the dominant algo in the market. If you want to trade algo, now I'm not saying there's probably thousands of different algorithms in the market that we'll never have any insight to what they're doing. Never. But this one leaves this footprint.
Yeah.
So you can track it. What did it do last? Where am I going to bump into it next? Well, okay, right here. I just bumped into it right here. Where am I long from? The last time I bumped into it, down here. It's just, now if we come back down again, well, I mean, it's still there because it hasn't gotten to target.
That's correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So it'll stay with it. Where's that target? Up here. Right up here, right? Both sides, because the auto fibs will have it as well as the measured move. So there's the target up here. So if I wanted to, I could push this up here. I want to go for a little bit more, go up to that. I would never put it because I know that's a pivot that's important to the market. If I can,
oh yeah,
right? I don't know what they are, right? Often I can't find them. You have to go back so far. I know it was important to the market, so it's a pivot. I wouldn't want to, for an extra 3 ticks, I wouldn't fuck around with it.
No.
So the next one we got to get through, because this is a big one. I can see because of the distance. I can look at the gap of this and say, okay, from this, here's a little one, but that's a 65 because the dashes are 65s, the solids are 618. So I know that's a big one, right? So that's going to be pulling from a higher time frame. That's going to be from a higher high way up there to give me a golden zone that big. But so this would be right out of your playbook, right? So we've come up, we broke, there's the change of character, right? So, okay, bulls are in charge. We've had a change of character. We've retraced to the golden zone. Now we've got a clear target up here. We're outside of 1 ATR. So let's see if yours would have given that. So let me take mine off. Yep, you would still be. Now note that big wick. So just something, use it, don't use it. But that big wick that gets rejected, if you put the volume on, what you're going to see is that huge big push of volume that buyers had to come in to prevent that thing from rolling over.
And I had it right on a large support level. I don't know.
Yeah, perfect, right? Perfect.
Yeah. Now, your measured move is that the chart you just had up, Sam? Is that from the measured move indicator or auto fibs?
Well, so and people ask us about this a lot. So the measured move indicator is tracking all of the measured moves that succeed. Now you can have it show you all those that fail, but what's the point of that? What you want to see is, so right here, I know I'm in a measured move. So now at the same time, you could look over here, the auto fibs are showing you all the future golden zones and 50s. The measured move is showing you those that have already happened. So I always tell people the value of the measured move indicator is to convince your own mind that this is not just, chart magic, that this is, there's legitimately here, because this is every single day, every time frame, every asset, period. There's nothing you can't put in front of me that I can't show you this algorithm. Nothing. It doesn't exist. This is every asset, every market maker, they all use this. I can find it in every asset class. So why would anyone not use it? I seriously, I mean, it's like a duh kind of a question. Why would you not use that right now? So the reason people they would not use it because they say, oh, fuck, I don't believe that bullshit. That's just all. But put the measured move indicator on, trial it for a week. Watch how many times it hits.
Yeah.
You'll be absolutely like when I first started seeing this, which came from David Halsey's work, and I started applying it and playing it and testing it. I literally, my jaw was on the ground. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I think, are you kidding me? You got to be kidding me. It's that powerful. And so I always, whenever I open a chart, the first thing I do, what did the algo do last? Where is it? Are we in the middle of one? Are we in between them?
Yeah.
Where am I fighting one? Where am I? What did it do last? All right.
I look at it like
what it did last, I know what it's likely to do next.
Yeah.
What it's got to break if it's going to continue, right? So this one had to break it had to break the golden zones from the high, right?
Yep.
One of them has to break. Look here, we hit it, reacted, and then we got through. You see that?
Never before has history helped predict an eventuality better.
No.
I had it on. I slapped it on several times and went. I had that feeling you described. I was like, why? How does it know I'm going to go to that lily pad? It's like and I started doubting it. And a couple of times I let him print and was like, holy crap! That I honestly thought, Sam, believe it or not, honestly thought I just got lucky.
Well, this is the thing that we get this question a lot. People say, well, how can, if the measured move is not going to fire, because this doesn't show up on the chart until the market moves a certain distance away, because otherwise you'd have just relentless false signals. So it has to get a certain distance from this pivot before it's going to show up. Because it might just do this and then just roll right over. And then you're like, well, that sucked, right? It gave me a false signal. Once it gets, oh shit, I can't remember. Erwin could tell you. It's a certain percentage we get away. Then it shows up. Well, then I know it's there and I know where the target is. Well, so people will write us and go, well, that doesn't fucking help me in the moment. Well, that's what the auto fibs are doing, because the auto fibs are showing you where it is in the future. Measured move indicator is where it was in the past. Now here, we can see that's where it is in the past, but there's its target. So if the market comes back down and we take out this pivot, well, that's pretty substantial. Look here, it hit it here once before. This is pretty substantial if we don't make the target. But odds are we're likely to get there. Now, I may get stopped out here because I'm just trailing behind. I would likely do it there. If I'm just going to trail behind this, I want to give it enough room. This is just a little retrace. So if you looked at a 2000 tick, that's just going to be a little pullback, which is just what you want, right? So if you didn't get it, oh shit, I got a chance to get in. See, now yours on a 25.5, it wouldn't show. Oh, I'm sorry, this is ES. So I stick to the 7.2 unless I've gotten, it's telling me I could go 8.2 here, but the 7.2
I don't do it. I stay with the 7.2 because inevitably when I was going to the 8.2, it just switched back without me knowing, or I wouldn't pick up on it, and all of a sudden it's back to 7.2. That would just, so that's the same way I treat this here, but for ES I use 7.2 as well.
Yeah, it's very, now on days where we have like, Fed days or fucking, jobs report, this thing can go 12.4, you can get it where then they go, okay, that's too much for Renko, because you can't see intra-bar. There's just too much wobble in there where you could think, oh, it's good. And then it just comes down hard. That's when I would go to a tick or the footprint, right, on something smaller. But boy, does this burn it in your brain. But remember, this is what's coming, right? This is what's happened. This is what's coming. If I had to pick one or the other, and people ask me this, I would do auto fibs, because I don't need to be reminded how often it hits. What I want to see is where's the next one? Where's the next one? So what it's doing, if you turned on to connect all the dots, you would see all the pivots it's using to line these up. But you don't need to see them. I just know that if it starts to, oh, here, look, I can do it this way. From this pivot, if I start to come back down, well, there's a 50, there's a golden zone, there's another golden zone. That's going to be from the low. Here, I can show it to you. So you can, and this is worthwhile doing so you know what we're talking about.
Sam, what I'm seeing is my chart. I don't know if you're broadcasting yours, but.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry. Sorry.
There we go.
Right. That's what I was saying. So here's the swing we're in, right? So here's the swing, here's the retrace, there's the auto fibs over on the side. So if I take that off, right, there's the auto fib. So if we start to come down, now look here, so you can see this is the future. Okay, so if I take this swing, if that's the high, well, here's the golden zone off to the side, here's the 50, right? So if I take those off, right, here's the 50, here's the golden zone of this swing, right? That's what that's showing me. This one here is this one, right? Because we haven't broken the high. So it would be the same swing. That's why it matches. So if I go Alt F and bring them over, that's what the algo sees, right? That's all the golden zones and 50s. That's what it sees, right? That's us looking at what the algo is looking at. Right. So you see where we are. We're between this golden zone and this golden zone. We're just in between the two, right? With this little micro in the middle of it. But now, can we break that? Well, look where it is, right? So you could do the same thing up here and say, okay, well, I know right here. Let's look at it this way. Right. So I look at the high up here. Look at the bar, right? So there's a lot of sellers, a lot of selling volume had to come in here to create that wick to drive it down. When I get down here, I didn't have a monster wick, but they started going green. Here was the push, right? Here was the big push where it really stands up where you're like, oh, okay, fuck. Buyers came in heavy here. Look at the volume here compared to the prior candles. Renko bricks. Now we're going to come right now. See, this is iffy, right?
Yeah, you need to break that previous high.
If I was in full size, I'd bring it down.
Right? Absolutely.
I'd bring it down here. Why? Right? It's not worth the risk here of giving it back because so you got potential to be just a liquidity grab. They go up here, run it, and then bring it back down.
Yep.
There's going to be defense here because I can see it below, right? They had to show up. Sellers had to show up to flip it to create that wick. So there they are, right? Here's more of them, right? There's the wick here. Bulls tried to take it up. Yep. Sellers, right? Look at the size, right? Then nothing until here, right? That's why the up down volume can be really useful with Renko because it shows you where the muscle came in. Where did they step in? They stepped in right here because this was looking like it could have rolled over. That was when we tested the IB. Oh, here comes the big push. I know mine is now hard to see, right? So it's
small. It's very small, but I can see it. I'm definitely going to slap that volume on there as well because that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think you'll find it useful, right? So I'm always looking for the power trio, right? That's what I call them, right? It's a power trio, which you can relate to, Skeff, as a bass player, right? So when everybody's in alignment, right? So here I got everybody's in alignment, everybody's green, everybody's red here, and I kind of use the OBV volume here, which is the pitch. When I see this going red, I look up. Is everybody else red? Okay, when we're going green here, is everybody else green? I mean, you just kind of look back. Are we going up? Is this a retrace? Retrace, right? Now we're going back up again. And you start to look at how these all work together. Yep. And this is all momentum. It's all momentum, right? So it fits with a Renko package. It's momentum.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, we've gone long today. Shit. I don't know if we may have lost anyone. Okay. There's Welcome Home. Absolutely the best live trading video I've ever seen. Holy shit, Skeff. That's a fucking serious compliment.
That fucker's right to the up right there.
For education will find something here. Well, Welcome Home. That is a really nice comment.
Thank you very much for saying that. Actually, that's pretty.
How about that, Skeff? All right, and we fucked up the resolution, and we still gave him a good live stream. Well, but listen, here's what I can promise anyone who's watching or watching the recording: we will get this resolution. We will get this sorted out.
The real meat and potatoes. Number one, starting with a market that's a little different, a little bit more momentum based than this. With watching me trade, when we get this layout, the real meat and potatoes is using two screens side by side and watching what I do in between the two of them. Especially on a super fast day. So
Erwin's telling me to try GoToWebinar. I mean, as soon as we end this, I'm going to go see if we can set that up and see if we can do two presenters. I'm sure we can. He's saying that'll be better.
Sam, look at this long, dude.
Thanks, Devin. Yeah.
Look at this NQ
Thanks,
long.
Steven. Oh yeah, look at that. It's just nonstop, uninterrupted too. That's the thing, right? Other than those wicks, it's uninterrupted.
Isn't that a heartbreaker?
Thanks.
And check this out. What was I talking about earlier? Price goes up, boom. Hits a TMA band, comes down and is obviously a runner because the band's, it's not going anywhere near a band. And then all of a sudden the band flattens out, starts to make a move to the upside. Price comes down, touches support. We have a change in character, if you want to call it that. Yeah. Filtration then says be patient. And if you use another indicator like an RSI, there's my entry right there. Bang.
Thanks, Barefoot Bob. Barefoot Bob music. I love the handles, right? I'm always amused by the handles. All right, man, we got to stop, right? Because we're shit. It's about noon, right? We'll take a break here. We'll go get a bite and see what the afternoon looks like. But great. The guys are signing off now because they're used to us just stopping now. Really good live stream. Thanks, Skeff. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Maybe we'll go again on Thursday. We'll talk about it here and see how things look, and if there's enough demand for it here, we'll go again on maybe on Thursday. Let me talk to Erwin and get a little feedback from these guys. What's your schedule like? We can talk offline. We'll talk offline.
Yeah, I'm
Okay, guys,
wide open.
we'll wrap
I
it
can
up
make
here.
whatever we have to make happen. I can make happen. Everybody out there should be mindful. We're approaching a rollover.
Okay, hang on one sec. Barefoot Bob Music, Discord link is invite on website. You know what? On website, no shit. That's where I was going to send you. Bear with us, Barefoot Bob. I'll double check as to what that issue would be. We've never had a problem with it before. But once we wrap up here, give me 5 minutes and I'll check with TDI Dev and see if we've got some issue in the link. But you should be able to just get right in, Barefoot Bob. Okay, guys, let's wrap it up here. Thanks so much, Skeff. Appreciate it. We'll talk about going again next time. Okay, guys, we'll wrap it, and you guys take it easy. Have a good afternoon.